Welcome to World Class Bullshitters, where we discuss pop culture on 6th grade reading level. Welcome to World Class Bullshitters, the epitome of pop culture. I'm your host, Jeff Hicks, and with me is Dion Green, Joel Hastings.
I'm back!
Baby.
Eric Lauderback.
Am I the only one who still spanks it to Sheila E?
Ew. And Dustin McNeese.
What do you call Hillary Clinton riding a unicycle? A cunt. Trump 2016.
You know, the only sad part about your jokes is that they'll eventually have to end after the election.
I know. Sad day.
Well, we still got about 6 months left, or 5 months.
Yeah, we got till November, so we're good.
Let's ride that train.
Woo-woo.
Well, this show had planned to be... We had planned this show to be one of the greatest world-class bullshitter epics of all time, but the failures that are the other guys backed out, and now our show has to be handicapped. So tonight, just bear with us. It's going to be a little different. But as always, let's start with the news. What do we have to share?
Well, recently, one of my favorite things in the world are memes, or memes as the rest of the dumbass world calls them. Anyway, recently, obviously, the news came out that Axl Rose is going to be the front man for AC/DC. And obviously, these memes had happened, I think, 2013 when they started. But again, with this news, the internet created a handful, more than a handful, a wonderful number of memes known as Fat Axl Rose memes. And in retaliation, Axl Rose was trying to implore Google to take them down. Obviously, he failed miserably, but they are some of the most beautiful bits of poetry I have ever seen in my life.
Dude, when you mentioned it, I Googled this, and I can't decide if Fat Axl Rose looks like the dude from Metallica, Seamus, or a dog. Like, he's one of those three things to me. But some of them are great, like knock, knock, knocking on McDonald's door.
Yeah, I'm looking at that one right now.
He's been dancing with Mr. Coldstone. Welcome to the bakery. We got pies and cakes. Oh, my God.
Welcome to McDonald's. Would you like some fries? We got everything you want. That you like that supersized.
Type 2 diabetes. I don't... Oh, man. If you
Axl Rose? Aiden.
The spaghetti incident? Sounds great. I'll take 2.
You know where you are? You're in the kitchen, baby.
You're gonna fly.
Oh! There's a meme. It's just welcome to the jungle. It's a picture of fat bastard.
Get in my belly.
It's so good.
Does anyone here like Guns N' Roses?
I don't mind him. I listen to
I
him.
mean, they got some good songs. I mean,
Like 2 songs I like.
especially when you're drunk.
I can deal with Welcome to the Jungle, and that's about it.
I like
Each
going
of
from
mine I do
13
enjoy.
too.
Ah, the one with John Connor on the back of Budnick's motorbike.
Yep.
I love Terminator 2, but I couldn't even tell you how that song goes. I guess I'm a bad Terminator fan.
Nah, you're fine.
All right, cool.
Looking at Dion's face, and he just looks so... How would you guys describe it?
Black.
Well,
Like a gay fat Auburn?
Shut the fuck up.
Hey, Joel, I'm glad you're here and not dead anymore. What was the other side like?
Well, very bright. I couldn't see anything. I didn't have my sunglasses.
So what
Did
you're
you convert
telling...
to Islam after you saw the 72 virgin boys you got to fuck?
Oh, sorry. Not Muslim.
Was it anything like that scene in Beetlejuice where you had to wait with a ticket number next to a head shrinker and an unfortunate hunter?
Pretty close.
Pretty close?
Pretty close.
Oh. Hilarious, Joel. That was a good feedback. That softball you whipped.
Dude, I just came
That's
from
softball.
back from the dead. I don't have much.
You
Because I've
didn't
been
have
dead.
shit to start with.
Dion, it wasn't more like a whiff. It was kind of like a bunt that failed. It
Right.
just kind of, boom, and it fell straight down, and Joel's like, what do I do? And he
I
trips.
kind of wish he went to bunt and it bounced off the ground and hit him in the nuts.
What nuts? Say
Then
it
we call
loud.
it a cunt bunt.
Good butt. Well,
Welcome back, Joel. Welcome back.
If the shoe fits,
Thank you very much. I'll be here all week.
Sadly.
What's some other news? Dustin, you're a smart guy who's with the times. What do we got?
Oh, I feel like I'm letting you down. I have been kind of disconnected this week. I had a sex dream about my wife's mom, and I cannot get that out of my head.
No.
You can tell us more about that off air.
Well, I mean, I got a boner now, so how can I wait?
Then tell us right now.
It wasn't really that sexy. Her husband has cerebral palsy, and it's kind of a sad story. Joel, you laughed at that, Joel? You laughed at my fucking wife's death? You're sick. You're
Oh no, your mind goes to a dream like that. That's what's messed up.
That's all I got for this week, gentlemen.
Well, let me try to save it. Bill Murray, everyone's favorite Ghostbuster.
You had a
is
sex
letting
dream
us
about
down.
him?
Yeah. He's letting me down, man. He's endorsing this femtrosity of a movie.
Femtrosity. I like that word. Gonna write
And-
that down.
I mean, they have all the Ghostbusters that are still alive currently. And in the back and the new women in front, and they're all like, yeah, it's better than the first one almost.
Said no.
How can you see the guys in the back? Most of the women are fat.
Well, I guess they had like the chairs into the ground a little more. You know, you got the one that looks like a big ass Yeti, the fat mouth. What's her name? Melissa McCarthy or something? I can't stand that woman. She makes me vomit just looking at her.
Apparently she's
Before
not-
Ghostbusters, I didn't think she was even funny, dude. Like, I don't know. She is like what's wrong with comedy today. Just her.
Yeah, fat women.
Well, it's
Any
just
other
all in your face. It's not funny. There's no subtlety.
Well, subtlety's dead because we live in this ADD riddled society. It's like I want it now and I need it constantly. I mean, they can't even wait 3 years between Star Wars movies anymore.
Yeah.
You remember what it was like waiting between Empire and Jedi?
I've got
Joel,
Alzheimer's.
what was it
No, I
like
don't.
waiting between the First and Second World Wars?
Oh, I'm not that old. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Eat a biscuit.
The insult "eat a biscuit" proves that you are in fact that old.
Can
You
you
actually
tell
seen
me?
the celebration dance after he did it. He broke into the fucking Charleston.
So, Joel, what,
And then you have that famous picture where the Navy guy is kissing the nurse. Well, then there's Joel making out with the little boy, which didn't make it the time.
It's funny.
you like Japanese people, right, Joel?
What was that now?
You like Japanese people, right?
Love Japanese women.
Everyone just keep Joel away from me. I don't want
And
to
it's
go-
really hard for them to run away after being bombed.
By Hong Kong Hastings?
Wasn't there a cartoon about that?
No, that's Hong Kong Fooey.
Oh, right.
That's close enough.
No Hanna-Barbera character.
I have a Hong Kong Fooey action figure. I don't know why that's relevant, but it is. Today's National Sex Day, so that's cool, I guess. Yeah.
6'9", 69. Get it, guys?
Giggity.
Oh, yeah.
Was that?
A pin has literally dropped.
It was Joel's.
Of course, it was Joel. If there was a pin dropping, who else would be doing that?
Did his
It'd be
fucking dentures fall out?
Charleston McDanvers over here.
I got some. Okay, here's some news that I find interesting because I didn't even know about it. Richard Simmons is not transitioning into a woman and deserves privacy. Rep says. Where was the story that he was going to switch into a woman?
That's a good question.
When was the last story that
I think it
anyone
was
gave a
For the
fuck?
last couple of years, he's just been locked up in his house. Well, people were worried that his caretaker or his girlfriend or whatever was
He doesn't
just
have a
in
girlfriend.
his house abusing him, beating the shit out of him.
He's at home crying and
Well,
jerking off down-
whoever the fuck is in there, someone was beating the shit out of him, and people were really worried, and he had to.
Hey Dion, there's a huge.
Well, you know, he is
Perfect.
a pony. Damn it, he's a pony. He's a pony.
Does
I'm a
anyone else
pony.
hear Dion's lag?
Yeah, I hear it.
Okay, Dion, I want you to hang up and call back, or I'll call you back. There's a huge lag. We're talking like minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
He's like, okay.
Okay. Cool. Hold on.
Thank God he's gone.
Oh,
Got any
sure.
racist jokes, Joel?
No.
You wearing 3D glasses from X-Men, Joel?
Yeah.
I thought he was hanging out with Biff Tannen for a second.
All right,
How's
Dion.
that?
Dion,
Oh,
can you hear
here,
me?
I'll change it out.
You hear me now?
I hear you. Do you hear me?
I hear you. I don't hear a lot of static that was breaking it up before.
Perfect. Back to the story, and now Joel is wearing 2 pairs of 3D glasses. He's taking
One
Dan's-
pair.
Oh, okay, 1 pair.
These are the plan of the.
Yeah, we
Well,
don't
yeah.
care. We don't care. You can not tell us that. That's cool.
Now your life's more enriched because now you know.
And knowing's half the battle.
Yep.
Jesus, no.
G.I. Joel.
Ah.
I always watch that cartoon. Sounds a little rapey.
That is the poorest selling toy in history. Instead of Kung Fu grip, he's got a masturbatory grip. Just jerks off.
Comes with free 14-year-old Vietnamese boy.
Oh, now is he a
Almost
pageant,
like
or do you have to mail in the proofs of purchases and send away for him?
You get a body part at a time. He only sent in for the pelvis.
Oh, that includes Joel's favorite parts: the butthole and the ball sack. So this has been a pretty light week for news. Have you guys noticed how much that movie Warcraft is getting shit on?
Yeah, it's another sad example of why not to make a movie out of a video game.
Is it, or is it just that movie's shit?
I mean, it could be. I mean, outside, what other good video game movies are there?
Mortal Kombat.
Which one?
Yeah,
Just Mortal Kombat.
Just the first one.
But Annihilation, though.
right.
It's garbage.
No.
I watched it once and cried because I wasted that much of my time and never got it back.
I saw both in theaters, Loudy.
Oh, wow. I'm sorry that you actually wasted money on it.
I didn't. I was fucking 6 years old. I didn't pay.
It's a good thing Joel didn't know you then.
It would have been really weird because Joel would have been trying to explain to me Mortal Kombat the game, and I would have just whooped his ass at it.
Back when I was your age, just the game.
I'd be like, Joel, you are the king of Pong. I will whoop your ass as Sub-Zero. Actually, back then I was a Liu Kang guy. Who's everyone's favorite Mortal Kombat character?
I'd have to say Liu Kang. Liu Kang or Sub-Zero?
Sub-Zero.
Dude, fat hot. Jesus Christ, Dion, turn off your fucking mic.
Well, I'm trying to type, so I'm not lagging. God damn it.
You weren't lagging, but when you type, it just sounds like that. Just talk, Dion. Tell us.
Yeah, the mic's right next to my computer, so I wasn't sure if I was.
Dion, who's your favorite Mortal Kombat?
I mean, Scorpion by far. I mean, clear as day. Scorpion is the best one.
18 minutes later, we got an answer, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, there you go.
Woo! This show is the greatest episode of World Class Bullshitters that'll actually get released. So, speaking of flops, the Ninja Turtles movie made dick this past weekend. Did anybody go see it?
Nope.
I saw it.
Nope.
I did.
Why am I not surprised, Joel?
And
Middle of the road. It was like a 6 at best.
Was it better than the last one that came out?
No, because they put Kang in it and he was fucking CGI stupid.
Okay, I'll take your word for it, because I saw the 2014 one, and I thought it was just okay. I gave it a 6 out of 10. It was not... I never need to watch it again, but hey, I saw it.
So, Joel, between this movie and... Did you see the new X-Men movie yet?
Yeah.
Between the two, which one was better?
God, that's hard.
Why?
Sad.
I had so many fucking problems with the X-Men movie.
Tell me.
J-Law fucking might as well phoned her performance in because she could care less that she was there. The makeup looked like shit.
It wasn't even full makeup, dude. It was just on her face, and she wore a bodysuit.
Right, because she didn't want to go in the long process of having to do it because she really didn't want to be there. Let's see. Scott Summers was a piece of shit that was actually shorter than Jean Grey. Jean Grey looked like a fucking she-male in transition. She was fucking... She looked like a good 6 inches taller than Scott Summers. She was the tallest next generation student there.
I thought she was not a good choice. She wasn't a good actor.
All I saw was her hairline.
She looked lost the whole time. And yeah, she was ugly, Joel. I'll just say it for you. She was fucking ugly.
She was ugly. Nightcrawler, though. The guy who played Nightcrawler did the performance real well.
Yeah.
He was the only
How
upside.
was he even in that movie? They explain that because he didn't know who they were next to.
Because
New
Mystique
timeline.
shows up at a cage fight between him, because he was probably kidnapped, and Angel.
Oh, you didn't see it, Dion? I guess not.
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, shit. Okay, I thought you were on that podcast with us. Sorry.
Magneto dies.
Yeah.
And they don't even go enough into Magneto's story for his, like, okay, Charles, I'm on your side now, but I'm leaving.
Through
He's
death.
like, I'm going home.
I thought there'd be more to it after he, like, just fucking ripped apart Auschwitz.
I mean, I'm not trying to be that guy, but after Civil War, can anything really live up to that?
No.
That's very difficult.
I mean, Deadpool was awesome, and then Civil War was just, like, the best Marvel movie, and everything else is just a toy.
It's like 1 and 1A.
Loudy, anything else you'd like to add for the news?
Well, I was scrolling through the old Facebookery here, and this kind of disgusts me because, I mean, as you guys know, well, at least Jeff, I'm huge into football and sports and shit, but Von Miller decided it was cool to turn down a $114.5 million contract, and that just kind of sickens me to death.
Why'd he say no?
I didn't go into the article because I was like, fuck this, you gotta be kidding me. Who would turn down that kind of money? The guy's a year older than me, and he's turned down.
Loudy, are you not wearing pants?
Oh, nope, sorry.
Then turn off your pants.
I wasn't going to bring that up.
Bye, B, homies. Anyways. But not only that, but Aqib Talib, who also plays for the Denver Broncos, got shot, I believe, outside of a nightclub.
Whoa.
Yeah, he was shot in the leg. He'll be okay. He'll be back for week 1, apparently.
Are these soccer teams?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what they are. Soccer teams.
I got the crime scene tape. They didn't. I just took it off the scene.
You actually did.
Oh god, I just don't understand how you turn down that amount of money. Well, mainly because I don't have it, but you know.
Like apparently he was just squabbling over the amount of guaranteed money, so it's not like.
I think the first 2 years guaranteed were maybe, I think it was like $36.5 million or something like that.
Damn.
Yeah.
Give me 36 million. I'll
Fuck
do
yeah.
just about anything.
I wouldn't self-mutilate, but man, I would kill some people for $36 million if I didn't have to go to jail.
You know you
Did
can
you cut your left hand off, Jeff?
Nope.
What would
I
that
think
take?
he already covered that in the self-mutilation part.
I won't cut off a body part for any amount of money or any amount of power. There's nothing you could do to convince me to do that.
Would you go through the feeling of giving birth?
Well, if I can just emotionally, like, if you could, like, put some kind of device, like Cerebro on me.
I think that kind of technology exists.
Yeah, it's just like muscle contraction stuff they put on like your belly and shit.
I'll go for that, because, I mean, what the fuck?
For 36 cool million, you totally fucking would. I would make
Goddamn
you
right I
do
would.
it. Even if you didn't give me a cent, I'd say, Jeff, put this on your fucking stomach. You will thank me afterwards. God damn it.
Oh, if you were the one that gave me the advice to do that, and I walked away with all that money, you'd be the first person to get a brand new Ferrari.
Fuck yeah.
Or a
Why
Lamborghini.
would you
Trust
want
me
a
on this one.
Falcon?
Hey,
Just
Jeff,
because he's the first doesn't mean he's the only.
Jeff,
Well,
I'll
that still is
I'll get
offensive.
a Ferrari. Just pay off my $20,000 in student loans, and we'll be good.
No, I'm going to buy you a car that you can't afford.
Oh, great! Thanks. Insurance on that's gonna be fucking outstanding.
I won't pay for insurance, Dion, but, well, for you I will, since it's your idea.
What, you buying them a Prius?
Fuck Priuses. We had to drive them.
We dealt with that. We dealt with that, goddamn.
We lived it, Joel. Shut your fucking mouth.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug. You need to stop that shit. I know it was cool back in like 1912, but you can't do it now.
What? Cocaine?
Yeah, I mean it's not cool to do it now. It was cool then because it was new. Now
Who
it's
said cocaine?
Cocaine? What? Oh, sorry. I mean, after my kids. After.
You know what, Dustin? I won't buy you a Ferrari. I'll just buy you I'll buy you your weight in cocaine.
Jeez, I'm gonna start eating more and more every day.
You think you'd go broke if you were buying cocaine at Bill's weight?
If you look,
I'm coke in the
Maybe
universe.
rest in peace.
no, it'll take us a decade to harvest it.
Oh, Jesus.
We'll call it Phil Kane.
Okay.
Dude, the sequel, and instead of spice, it's coke.
Oh my god! You know what the best part about making fun of him on the show is?
He never
He'll
listens.
never listen.
Yeah, exactly. He's proved it for months. He's like, I haven't been on an episode. I'm like, you missed 3 months, asshole. Oh, I don't know. I don't listen to the shows either. I'm like, you listen for the.
At least I listen to the show.
In his defense, he has flaps that cover his ears, so he's really hard of hearing.
Plus, doesn't diabetes, make certain fucking things fail? I'm sure those ears have been gone for years.
What pissed me off was we went to his house and he wasn't even subscribed to this channel. We were on his YouTube account and he hadn't subscribed. I'm like, what the fuck, Phil? He's like, oh, I don't want to subscribe. I listen to the show. I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah.
The first things I did when this show came out was I automatically subscribed. I'm like, oh shit, this is gonna be great.
Because you're a good friend, Loudy.
That's me. Sign me up.
Everyone's getting a Ferrari except Phil. I'm gonna buy him a Hot Wheel and then break it in front of him.
Does Dan's come with like a lung machine?
No, Dan doesn't get one either. Dan gets a picture of a Ferrari.
Damn.
A really nice one.
Yeah, like he'll get
laminated.
Can't Dan get the Hot Wheel since Phil's gonna be dead? Just bury him with the picture.
I want to have the satisfaction of breaking something in front of Phil. Like, hey Phil, fuck you, crack, and just throw it in his face.
No, the ultimate.
Like a plate of food?
Put something in front of Phil, buy him a Ferrari, and then fucking take a sledgehammer to it right in front of his face. Say, look at the car you can't drive.
Because that would be money I'm throwing away.
You got.
But if you have that much money, you don't care.
You're supposed to care. Let me tell you, you don't become rich by just buying Ferraris and wreck them with fucking sledgehammers. I'm not Triple H. Right?
You're fucked.
Yeah, Triple H easily had more than $36 million.
He's worth 25. I looked it up.
Well, yeah, but his fucking dad-in-law is Vince McMahon.
That's true. Vince McMahon has a net worth of $750 million. But my point is, that's not Triple H's money.
Well, that's it.
How much is The Rock worth?
If Triple H said, buy me another China tonight, he'd be like, all right, cool, let's go.
I'll buy you the country of China, or the continent. While I'm at it.
I got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Is there any reason to tune into wrestling these days?
Nope.
Not really.
Nope.
I mean, outside of a few individual dudes, there's not a lot going on.
Because I know the draft is coming up, and the draft was always fun back in the day, but is there anything that would make me want to start watching again?
I would say no. The most exciting thing that could be happening right now is if Chris Jericho were to die in the ring, because he is just a fucking nightmare to watch anymore.
He's a stupid idiot.
That's his catchphrase. It's stupid idiot. He wears a fucking scarf to the ring, and he doesn't even wrestle good matches. He's botched like 3 times recently.
That's
Jesus.
He's Chris Jericho. He invented botching. It's cool.
Fuck you, Chris Jericho. You were my second favorite of all time.
And then what happened?
Fuck AJ Styles.
AJ Styles is way more entertaining than Chris Jericho.
He's just, I don't know, he just looks like a bland wrestler, a jobber from the old days.
How much do you like Roman Reigns, Joel? A lot?
There. Oh.
What? Say that again?
I said he's just there. I mean, when I even turn in and watch it, it's just like the commercials are more interesting nowadays.
It's true. To answer your question in a long roundabout way, Dustin, just give up on wrestling. Go to WrestleMania with us, but give up on wrestling.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so we kind of dragged this news segment out. Let's talk about this shitty week in pop culture.
There is none.
We did. Shit, sorry. I'm just so lost. Guys want to get to the debate?
Do it, bruh.
All right, so listeners, last week our debate was Power Rangers versus Ninja Turtles. If you are a dedicated fan, you know that. And thanks to the dedicated fans that listen, they have determined that the Power Rangers team won. So not only was I given the win by our great judge Dustin.
Given is definitely the correct term to use.
Oh, Dion, you just suck.
No, don't get mad at me. I saw the fucking truth, bro. I see the fucking truth.
Just because you're black doesn't mean our truth is applicable to you in everything, okay?
Shut up, little Jimmy.
Someone ain't housebroken.
We can fix that.
That's real funny from the guy with the dinner plate tits, but no, I'll give you that one.
Better than the fucking Old Country Buffet tits. Fuck you.
Hey. These Old Country Buffet tits are physically appealing. Yours are just look like a cartoon character tits just swinging at the floor. Like, what is that?
Did that take you a couple seconds to think up?
You were making me
hungry. No, it was the lag. Plus, I just can't stop looking at these dicks.
Bro, all the dicks.
Dion, I think you kind of won that.
No.
Oh, you didn't get a win, baby. You didn't get a win. Oh, shit. God, shit, dude. Oh, shit, man. Oh, fuck, dude.
All right, Brad. Anyway, that's not what the debate about. Excuse me. That's not what this week's debate is about. Dicks and
Oh,
shit.
shit, I thought I won.
No, I'm the judge. I didn't give anybody a win yet.
All right, well, this week's debate is probably one of the most unique debates in all of history because no person has ever compared these three things together. But thanks to the great mind that is Dustin McNeese, we have done so on World Class Bullshitters, and now we're going to present it to you. So, this week's debate is Marvel versus DC versus Star Wars? What do you guys think of that topic?
Ruh-roh, Raggy.
All right, so the teams are as follows. Dustin represents Star Wars. I represent Marvel. And Joel and Dion represent DC Comics. Loudy will play Judge Judy, and the listener will ultimately decide who wins. So, who would like to go first?
Ooh.
Let's give the loser Star Wars its first turn.
All right, Star Wars, you're up.
Okay, so we're going to go the 4 or 5 rounds or whatever.
Yeah, so what we'll do, listener, is Dusty came up with 4 questions. Who has the best stories, the best characters, what's most important to pop culture, and hypothetically, if one of these could only be the only one to exist, which should? So, Dustin, you will go first with Star Wars.
Okay, so the best stories. In the prequel trilogy, you have basically a Jesus character. He's born to a virgin, and he is here to fulfill this prophecy. And as we go along, we watch him fall in love and do all these adventurous things. But ultimately, unlike Jesus, he falls to the temptation of the dark side. And that's a really interesting twist on a universal story. And that character then, of course, transitions over to the original trilogy as Darth Vader. Now, Darth Vader is helping the evil emperor, of course, rule the galaxy. And the only person who can take down Darth Vader is his own son, who wins him over by reminding him what good and love feels like. If that's not a universal story, I don't know what is. It's better than some faggoty-ass Suicide Squad story or Tony Stark getting drunk and killing a bitch at a party. You guys fucking suck. Star Wars is great. I see Dion laughing. How about you go, Dion?
I'm not laughing. It was a whole emotional thing going on there. I'm just so upset with you.
He really felt that dark side take over.
So, Dion, go. Why does DC have the best stories? And Joel, obviously, you can fill in since you've been around as long as DC.
Well, I mean, outside of them being older, I mean, sure, the prequels, I mean, just saying the phrase the prequels automatically discredits you.
How this works,
I'm talking.
Go through and explain your stories, and then there's a rebuttal at the end. Reading's fun. Try it.
Anywho, thank you, sweetheart. As far as stories, I mean, there's almost nothing better than having a hero, a character that is one of the most powerful beings in the universe, and having to still, in his world, go through a lot of human interaction. I mean, obviously we have, the fact that this incredible being is raised on Earth to a human mother and a father, and he has to still be able to not only deal with being Superman, i.e. who I was talking about, but also growing up, trying to conceal his abilities as well as being Superman. I mean, and that's not just him, but there's Batman. Any story with Batman, obviously with a kid whose parents are killed, he becomes a superhero, and then he goes on to essentially have his own family whose main focus is crime fighting. I mean, there's a lot of examples of that in DC, not to mention overarching stories. Anything with Justice League, The Crisis on Infinite Earths is a great storyline.
Flashpoint.
Villains in multiple stories there, whether it be in the comics or even in the cartoons involving Brainiac, Darkseid, the Flashpoint paradox. I mean, even if you have the different Earths, Joel, what's the name of the other Justice League, the evil Justice League?
Crime Syndicate of America.
The Crime Syndicate. So, thank you. That is a great story. Yeah, I mean, and these things build on one another. You even have, you have essentially the apprentice of Batman, one of the Robins, who dies, comes back to life, and essentially wants to kill Batman. Particularly, he's being brought back by one of Batman's ex-girlfriends. I mean, just the intrigue with these different characters, their lives, people that they know, their friends, their family, is just incredibly intriguing.
So why didn't you mention movies? Like, does DC not have good movies?
I mean,
yeah, they don't.
Okay,
One of
fine,
the-
yeah.
one of the
They
greatest
don't have the
movies, though.
movies.
The original Superman movie. I mean, that opened the
Wait,
door.
of all the ones to pick, you picked Superman. You could have picked Batman '89, Begins, Dark Knight.
I'm saying
Dark Knight sucks.
first. The first one to open that door. Obviously, The Dark Knight, Batman Begins, even Batman '89 come later. But that first initial 1970s Superman with Christopher Reeve, I mean, the dude is a cultural phenomenon. Even though he ended up not being able to walk, he was Superman. He was what we saw as Superman. I mean, people saw Christopher Reeve, and that was what a superhero looked like in real life. Why? Because Superman is the American hero. He's America and justice and all that. And one of the reasons, that was furthered was because Christopher Reeve, a movie star, embodied that top to bottom.
You know, Dion, I was just trying to poke fun at you that DC has shitty movies nowadays. I wasn't looking for
What? No, they don't have shitty movies.
topic.
They don't. They don't. The
How-
great
did
one
they
that just came out.
Did they install a wheelchair ramp at the Fortress of Solitude?
That was his human cover. It was his human cover.
No, what I heard a lot from you was a lot of nothing, which is, I mean, par for the course with you. But the question was about stories, and all I hear you goes, Joel, what's the name of that crime syndicate thing? And then you kept listing off a bunch of names, and you didn't really tell a whole lot of stories.
I did mention stories. I mean,
He actually did.
I heard stories.
But, you know, listening's not
All I
your
heard
strong
was
suit.
Superman struggles with being an American hero, and Batman's parents died. Yeah, we've heard that 1,000 fucking times.
Boy, I'm just answering the question, bro.
All right, I'll answer the question, and then I guess should I go into rebuttal since I don't see. The thing is, Marvel has the best stories because it has 55 years of continuity, and that's if you only want to be literal Marvel comics. Fantastic Four on. You want to take it back, you can take it to Timely, back when Captain America was their big character. I mean, Marvel has 76 years of fucking history. There are so many stories that expand every type of genre. And I mean, with those stories, you got all kinds of characters, and they have backstories, and that just builds to the universe. And these stories can take you all over the world, through time, through space, through other dimensions. Anything can happen in the Marvel universe. A good chunk of it takes place in our world, but a good chunk takes place on other worlds. It's almost like it takes our reality and makes us believe that there could be something else out there, and you get more of a sense of excitement from a Marvel story. Like, you brought up Jesus in Star Wars. Well, the great thing about Marvel opposed to Star Wars is there are a lot of stories. Star Wars is essentially one story. So to say there are many great stories, it's kind of just like one. And there's no real excitement with the story of Star Wars because it's all leading up to one ending that we've known about. Like, so when you talked about the prequels, well, oh, it's so exciting and fresh. No, we all know he's going to turn evil and become Darth Vader. That's not like...
I didn't say exciting and fresh. I just said it's a good story. Just because you know the ending doesn't mean the journey's not fun. And you used to love Star Wars.
Well, the journey in the prequels was never that fun. I mean, most people are like, there are cool parts, but overall they have problems. And then here's the thing. Star Wars contains more genres than the Star Wars universe. Star Wars is just space, fantasy, sci-fi. Marvel is every type of genre you can imagine. Comedy, horror, action, war, romance, sci-fi, western, and every type in between. There's nothing you can't achieve in the Marvel world and universe. You could actually do anything Star Wars can do in the Marvel universe. You can't do everything Marvel can do in the Star Wars universe.
Same thing with DC.
I don't care about them.
Quality over quantity. Just because you have this variety of stuff you can do.
Quality. You got 3 crappy prequels.
They're
that
not
was
crappy.
CGI love fest. The characters were freaking cardboard.
You fucking love comic books. That's all animated. It's not real. If you're going for this whole
But that's what
photorealistic
comic books
thing,
requires
it's
your
not real
imagination to fill in the blanks. Lucas
You
used
don't have
CGI
a
to
fucking
fill in the blanks, and he did it poorly.
off by people telling you fucking little cartoon stories your whole life. Fuck you. Don't knock graphics in movies and then sit there and flip through a comic book. You fucking hypocrite.
Actually,
You
it's not
fuck-
hypocritical. It's the same thing if Joe were to say, this was a bad panel in this John Byrne comic. It took me out of the story. It doesn't match. Oh, it is.
No,
is
he's
that...
saying all panels are bad because he's going all CGI. CGI.
No, no, no.
CGI in
No,
those movies is
He
pretty shit.
overused CGI.
What's overused about it?
Well,
Let's say the fact that in the new movie they went to try to do even more practical effects because CGI just took away from the story.
And that still didn't make it.
The whole movie was filmed in front of a green screen.
and it looks like it too. It doesn't. It's not like, oh my god, this is photorealistic. It's like how are these people like floating around certain things? It looks weird when they're walking down a hallway and there's no hallway. Like the camera's unnatural. It looks weird.
Yeah, well, regardless, you guys can't deny that 4 through 6 are American classics. You guys both love them, so you can sit there and knock it all you want, but at the end of the day, you all know you love them.
But you never mentioned 4 through 6. All you did is say the Jesus story with Anakin Skywalker, which is a bullshit cop-out on George Lucas's part anyway. Couldn't come up with an original.
How? What is original? What the fuck has Marvel ever done that's original? All their stories are based off of old Greek mythologies. Just people.
You mean just like fucking Star Wars?
Spider-Man?
Spider-Man's not based off anything Greek mythology. There are certain things like
Right.
I mean, the most original of these would be Marvel, because it's not literally taking an archetype. I got that covered when we get to the characters. Don't worry, Star Wars is going to get a fucking raising when it comes to characters, because we'll get there. Just, is there anything else you guys want to add about the stories?
No, not right now.
All right. Dustin, go ahead with characters.
Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Princess Leia, Chewbacca, R2-D2, C-3PO. You motherfuckers don't have a percentage of characters that come anywhere close to the belovedness and the respect that those characters get, the references that pop culture makes towards them. Yeah. Who do you? I see you, Dion, looking over there like a fucking cartoon character. You got Batman and Superman, maybe Flash and Green Lantern. And then what does Marvel have?
More
Spider-Man,
than your characters combined. Let me tell you something
well,
right
I'm in the
now.
middle of my thing, though. Can I finish mine?
Yeah.
Because you guys might have a roster of 200 different characters, but go ask anyone on the street to name as many as you can from Star Wars. You can't do it. You can't do it. Star Wars' characters are a part of America.
Oh, please.
Please what?
You most people are going to give you probably 10 Star Wars characters at best.
And what are they going to do for DC, retard?
Well, the first character they're going to say is, if you name a comic book character, if they're not a snarky 13-year-old and say Deadpool, they'll probably say Superman or Batman, because Superman is like the biggest.
They got 2. They gave 2. You can name off 8 or 9 Star Wars characters.
Superman, Batman, Robin, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Flash, Firestorm, Zatoister Gold, Blue Beetle. I can go on. Changeling, Cyborg, Starfire, Raven.
People like to absorbing those characters, but all they do is watch 6 movies and they know 3 movies and they know these characters.
Yeah, but if we're gonna talk about the movies, I mean, DC has the Batman cartoon, Justice League cartoon. I mean, you have multiple characters in those
Young
cartoons.
Justice.
Some of those cartoons are some of the most beloved of all time. And yeah, you have the Star Wars movies, but some of them they sucked. And anyone
to even compare a Justice League cartoon to Star Wars. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
I didn't compare. What I'm saying is, as far as relevance, I mean, Star Wars came out 40 years ago. I mean, people love to just be able to pull up the Justice League cartoon on Netflix and be able to watch it as many times as they want. And all the characters, even if you just want to stick with just the Justice League cartoon. I mean, you could pick out more characters and relate to those a hell of a lot better than characters that were written by a dude who became money hungry fucking 30 years ago.
Okay, so what I had wrote for Marvel is Marvel's characters have grown and matured over the years. Unlike a lot of these other franchises, the characters aren't essentially in the same place they started with. Among these characters, you have tons of types. You have mutants, you have superpowered beings, gods, mortals, old ants, and billionaires. They're more than just a mythical archetype. They're unique and they're us. They're human, relatable, and flawed. And there's a greater variety, too. Everyone in Star Wars is just kind of out in outer space, and they're there. That's all they do. If you want space in Marvel, you go read The Silver Surfer. If you want the Everyman, you read Spider-Man. If you want crime and fucking courtroom drama, go read Daredevil or She-Hulk. There's a Marvel character for everybody. With Star Wars, each character has to fall into a certain category, and it feels manufactured. There's less nuance with Star Wars characters. You have Jedi, you have Sith, you have non-powered characters, you have good or bad. That's really kind of it. To me, most characters are like a Venn diagram with Star Wars, especially the prequels. It's Jedi/badass, non-powered/badass, or just bad guy. Everybody can kind of do the same thing. They're interchangeable. Darth Maul could have replaced Count Dooku. There's nothing special about Padme besides the fact that Anakin loves her, and anybody could have done what Jango Fett did for the plot. The Star Wars characters that you mentioned from the originals are great, but the huge width of the Star Wars stories we were talking about earlier, those characters are cardboard cutouts. They have no unique qualities about them. Every member of the Jedi Council, save for Yoda, in episode 1 is just a secondary character that is not important. They just wield a lightsaber. Their main goal is to look cool in the Battle of Geonosis in episode 2 and die in episode 3. They don't do anything. They don't add anything to the universe. They're just there to sell action figures and fill up space. Marvel characters, everybody does something. Look at Civil War. Ant-Man, a fucking character a decade ago, we went, who gives a shit about Ant-Man? Ant-Man, fully realized, one of the best fucking characters on that team, one of the best Marvel movies. The Vision and Scarlet Witch, would you really care about an android and some girl with hex powers? Not really, but they're so well done in the comics and in the movies that they become greater, they become more relevant. You have Batman and Superman on DC side, and that's awesome. Maybe if you're a little older, you know Wonder Woman, and if you're young and you're watching The Flash and Arrow, that's about it. You mentioned Robin. Robin's cool. He goes with Batman. Most of DC's other characters are forgettable, and most people don't even know that they're not a Marvel character.
I mean, yeah, that's a great point. But if anything, I wouldn't say that they're characters for everyone, especially seeing as how so many of them are so similar. I mean, there's so many Marvel characters, and they're just so similar. At least with DC, you have these characters.
How many different Supermans and Batmans do you guys have?
There are a few, but I mean, especially they're different in different universes, different Earths, and they have a similar, whether it be an upbringing or, I guess, origin, but they're different Batmans. Batman from the comics is different than Batman. I'm not
talking about Batman from the comics to Batman in the movies. I'm talking about, like, Earth 1 Superman versus Earth 2 Superman. Like, that's a stupid concept. Like, you can't come up with something new and original. You want to talk about,
that's not a great point, seeing as how there's, 3 Spider-Mans. There's the clone Spider-Man, then there's the Miles, the cute little black kid Spider-Man, and then there's Spider-Man.
You had Spider Island with 1,000 Spider-Man.
Spider Island wasn't that, Joel. Spider Island was when a mutagen got out and it turned people.
They were all spiders, though, right?
But that's not, like, the same character. They all got contaminated. It's like, anthrax or Ebola. Just a bunch of people got sick and turned into spiders instead of shitting their brains out.
Spider-Man 2099.
Yeah, I mean, even so, all those Spider-Mans, they're different dudes, but they all have the same thing they want to save. At least with DC, you know what an evil Superman looks like. You know what he does, what good Superman looks. I mean, you have characters that are complete contrasts, even though they may be the same name or very similar. Their personalities are completely different. We don't have to have 5 versions of the same character. We don't need to have Iron Man and War Machine that literally have the same part. They both have suits of armor, but hey, one's black and they're best friends. I mean, we don't need to have 30 characters from Asgard when only one is really the only one that we care about.
Why can't DC get Superman their title character correct, and why do they have to change it every 5 years? Because they're out of fucking touch. All right.
Same thing with Spider-Man. I mean, you have a Spider-Man he's a teenager, but he's relatable. But then he's a teenager that's really angsty. It's like pick a character. You want him to have
but it's not the same Spider-Man. You're going on about how there's different Spider-Mans. Fine, I'll give you that. But you can't compare one to the other. You can't say you have a problem with a certain one and attribute it to the other Spider-Man. So I was talking about how characters matured and aged over the years. The original Spider-Man, the 616, went from dorky teenage kid to a teacher / business owner / all this other shit. He grew and matured at a relatable rate. Like, Batman has never grown. He goes from philanthropist to philanthropist to philanthropist to, like, child diddler with Robin, back to philanthropist. Oh, here's these girlfriends to prove I'm not gay. Darth Vader's awesome and all, but, like, he's like their best character. When you bring up characters like C-3PO, I've never heard anyone go, oh, C-3PO is a great character. He's necessary, but he's just kind of there. He's about as important.
He's a plot point.
He's like Jarvis. I mean, I would never argue that comic book Jarvis is an important integral member of the Avengers, but he's just kind of there. And I mean,
but you can't say that about Alfred.
My franchise is the only one with notable heroes and villains. I haven't heard you guys once bring up a villain from your team because they're not important.
Oh, okay.
Are you serious? I have the Joker.
Lex Luthor.
3 of them, right? 3 Jokers?
Sinestro.
Who?
Sinestro.
You know who Sinestro is, fool?
Oh, he's audio cut out.
Oh, yeah, Sinestro.
I mean, how in depth do you want me to go with the Marvel characters? I mean, you mentioned the original.
If you go that deep, that's fine.
I was gonna say, you mentioned the original 8 to 10 characters from the first Star Wars movie. Love that movie. Great. Empire, still great, and then everything else just goes downhill from there progressively. Sure. But with Marvel, I mean, you got the Fantastic Four, you got Spider-Man, you got the X-Men. The X-Men roster spans further than anything in Star Wars. There are more X-Men and X-Men side characters than there are Star Wars characters, and most of those side characters are way more interesting than the Star Wars side characters. You got Avengers, which is kind of an umbrella term, which I'm not going to use. You got characters like Hawkeye, Quicksilver, Scarlett Johansson, a.k.a. the Black Widow. I can't ever think of her fucking name. Spider-Man. Spider-Man's world. Uncle Ben, Aunt May, J. Jonah Jameson, Robbie Robertson, Mary Jane and Gwen Stacy. All interesting characters, all with fucking stories to tell. They're just not there to sell a toy like a Boba Fett or a Jango Fett who's like, we're going to fill in the lines. Like, Jango Fett is the most unnecessary character. Literally any other character could have been the Clone Army template for that Cypher Diaz dude. Like, it could have been anybody. Half the Star Wars characters, more than half. I say you have 10% of the Star Wars characters are actually worthwhile and notable. The other 90% are just garbage, replaceable. They don't mean anything. If they come from a book, they're just a made-up name with a little backstory that was probably written by a fan. I mean, Marvel had these things that came out back in the day. Joel, you had them, those Marvel Universe hand guide books.
Mm-hmm.
Every character has something about them. They're not just there.
Yeah, just like DC's Who's Who.
Who's DC again?
DC had Who's Who.
I was joking.
Damn it, man. Get the jokes.
You guys are on a team. Work together. I guess that's a no? Okay.
Teamwork makes the dream work. God
Dion
damn.
cut out.
But even going off.
Dion cut out.
Again. Am I still there? Am I gone? Am I back?
Oh,
You're lagging.
Oh, shit.
Now you're not. Just keep going.
He's like, fuck.
Okay, okay, cool. But
1944.
say what?
I said you were like a horrible Japanese movie from 1944.
Hey, Godzilla's a great fucking franchise. Don't you talk shit about that leg.
Hey, that's not in this
Greenzilla.
debate, so I need you to keep
Greenzilla.
that out.
I could
Sorry.
I could use Godzilla because Godzilla appeared in the Marvel Universe.
Well,
Just saying.
And even off that point, you at least have DC that can bring in, like Marvel, bring in great characters that aren't even. They brought in Muhammad Ali. You can bring, obviously.
But technically, I could bring.
Oh, they brought in Spider-Man. They wanted to help boost Spider-Man sales, so they had him against Superman.
Well, no, it's the other way that they just teamed up because Superman and Batman at points in time were going to be canceled because they lost relevance with the youth of America at that point in time. Superman is so fucking boring. You can't make a good movie based on him in 40 years. Batman's cool. I have nothing to say about Batman negatively, but your main character is so polarizing that you're either going to go one way or the other and no one's going to like it. He's not a good character. He was cool, and it was cool that he was the first, but so much has come since him, and everything's been better.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, that's the same struggle that, like I said before, that Marvel's gone through. I mean, obviously, Spider-Man is Marvel's title character, and although the first two movies were great in this attempt to grab money and rush a film franchise out, you had three come out, which was horrible. They betrayed their own characters, and then you go on to make this angsty teen drama, and again, fucking undo a great character in Spider-Man. So
you guys have Batman v Superman, the lowest rated superhero movie I think ever, or one of. That's just a goddamn joke. I mean,
but you also
Batman v Robin used to be the joke. It's now Batman v Superman. Batman is in the two biggest punchlines in comic book movie history. Your movie actually killed a fucking genre for a while. People thought comic book movies were done when Batman and Robin came out. It's a goddamn piece of shit.
And everyone thought that Spider-Man had figured it out, which they immediately didn't twice. 3 comes out, and then immediately turn around with The Amazing Spider-Man, and then it comes out with the sequel, and almost immediately after the sequel comes out, they decide that they're going to reboot the franchise.
Let me tell you something, dude. Argument aside, I'm not going to try to defend those 3 movies, so you can just either take that as hey, they suck, because I'll say they suck too. I'm not even going to try to argue on that, but just purely on characters, which is what we're trying to get back to. I mean, Darth Vader's like Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom came out 30 years before Darth Vader. Well, not 30, sorry. 15 years before Darth Vader. These Marvel characters aren't really dependent.
What do they have in common besides
the design and how big of a comic
covered?
The design and how big of a comic book fan George Lucas was, and how he.
Cape. What do they have in common, really?
Dude, you are cutting out. I can't even hear you. I basically got what do they have? Well, George Lucas borrows from everything. Like, everything in Star Wars is borrowed. It's not unique. It's not like it's almost, that's why Star Wars resonates with some, like, all over the world, because it's really not anything original. It's just, we're going to take what worked, and we're going to literally paste our characters on top of it. I mean, watch any Star Wars documentary. They will admit that they just basically stole, like, just classic archetypes. They didn't take anything original. I mean, hell, they even took shit from Seven Samurai. Like, the whole idea of the film being told through the eyes of C-3PO and R2-D2 comes from Seven Samurai, where it's a story, this great epic told from this, from the perspective of two beggars. It's not. It just goes to show you that while Star Wars is cool, it's all just recycled shit. And that's why when you get to Episode 7, which is the most heinous offender of recycled shit, that I can't even defend Star Wars anymore, because it's just. It's too. It itself has become a cynical cash grab. Dion brought up cash grab with those Spider-Man movies. I will agree, but at least those Spider-Man movies didn't retell like fighting Doc Ock on the train. Spider-Man. Or Star Wars essentially did retell all that shit.
How many times has Uncle Ben died in the movies?
Twice. How many times has a young white character gone on the same fucking journey to fight evil? 3 times.
One had estrogen. If that makes any difference.
Hey, you know what? It's gonna be the greatest of all time. You know I feel that same way about you. But let's talk about what's most important to pop culture. This is a good debate. It's heated. I like it. At the end of the day, that's what's going to bring in them listeners.
It's definitely DC.
Okay, you know what? You spoke. Just go.
Without a doubt, come on. You can hardly show. You got to show an A for the Avengers. You got to actually show a spider symbol somehow, and they say Spider-Man or a 4. But if anyone, you see more people walk around with Batman symbols, a Superman symbol on their chest.
You mean the S, which stands for hope?
S. No, thanks. People, when kids want to grow up to be Superman, they don't say, I want to grow up to be Spider-Man. They don't want to grow up to be the Hulk.
Yeah, but Joe, I think you're coming from a place of where your age is different, because nowadays kids will want to be like Iron Man. Seriously, Superman, nobody wants to be Superman because Superman can't have sex with regular people, or he can't, like, relate. I mean, why wouldn't you want to be Iron Man? Yeah, you're an alcoholic, but you're a billionaire. Everybody wants to bang you. And because you're rich, you'll just get away with all your problems. It's like being a real-life billionaire. And you get a cool suit.
I don't think he gets away with it. Because he's becoming more and more dick as he goes along, because he thinks he's right about everything, because I'm rich, I'm right.
And that just goes to show you the complexity of the Marvel characters over the DC characters. Not, oh my god, Martha, my parents are dead, Martha. Bleh. It's the same fucking thing over and over again. You brought up, Dustin, about how many times Uncle Ben died. How many times have you seen Batman's parents get shot?
Not enough.
Not enough! You know what? On that Batman v Superman extended cut, I want a special feature where you can loop Martha Wayne getting shot in the face 35 times. Just boom, boom, boom.
And put it in dubstep?
Yeah, and then her pearl necklace, the Joe Chill just ejaculates onto her chest. That would be...
Somebody actually gives her a real pearl necklace after she's dead.
That is the R-rated cut.
But Joel, all you said so far, and we'll let you continue, because we are jumping down your throat, is people wear T-shirts.
Yeah.
That's all you said so far.
People, DC, when it comes to comics, I love. When DC comes to like animated, they rule the animated. I mean, there's more animated shows for DC than there is for Marvel, and they always cut it off because Marvel poorly handles their animated shit. I mean, come on. They had the Avengers. Oh, well, the movie changed a little bit, so they cut that and made, Earth's Mightiest Heroes next after that. And they just changed the lineup and the art. I just think Marvel doesn't, I don't know, I'm just losing myself with the words here for Marvel.
Well, even in terms of pop culture, I mean, the whole superhero genre was brought to the forefront by DC. I mean...
And killed by DC as well.
Well, I mean, still... Again, I mean, nonetheless, the effect is still the same. You have the man, I mean, DC, the whole opening the shirt thing was created by DC. The idea of what a superhero is, particularly their relationship with being a hero and trying to live a normal human life, you know, DC brought that up. I mean, and that's something that even Marvel...
Wait, there really isn't about how to live a normal life in a DC comic. It just glosses over. Like, they don't have real life problems, dude. Like, what does... Batman never has trouble. He's like, I'm rich, I can just sleep all day, fight crime all night. He doesn't have to get up and get to a job. And Superman's like, well, if they find out I'm an all-powerful being, who the fuck's gonna, like, so there's no stakes involved if somebody finds out a character's secret
What are you
identity.
talking about? So many stories.
If somebody finds out Batman is Bruce Wayne, what the fuck happens?
Well, not that.
You saw it in the Arkham City.
Well, not only that, but there's multiple stories where if they go after his friends, his family, if he
who are all super trained and prepared. Alfred,
obviously not. I mean, there are consequences to people finding out who they are. I mean, you had
none of them are as great as
shot. You had Robin getting fucking murdered by a psychopath.
That has nothing to do with the Joker finding out Batman's true identity. So don't use that.
No. You brought up the identity thing.
That's what I'm saying. You're talking about this dual life. That doesn't.
No. I said they go into trying to deal with living a normal. Part of that normal life is having family members that you adopt, children that you adopt. I'm not saying necessarily just the effect of someone finding out your secret identity, but bringing in. But that's not what I meant. But bring in someone into your fold and losing that person because of your action. That's something that people deal with in real life. That's something that Batman had to deal with.
Well,
Superman, again.
You keep bringing up about Spider-Man when you're talking about the movies. Well, Spider-Man, there's more character complexity there than any of your DC characters. Like, if someone finds out he's Spider-Man, which they did in the books, you target his family. They're not superpowered. They don't have training. His aunt just got shot and died. Like, that's the kind of shit he deals with. There is a greater life-work balance, and we'll use work as superheroing, in the Marvel than there is even in DC. Like, Superman puts on a pair of glasses and slicks his hair back, and all is good. Like, Spider-Man gets the shit beat out of him, has to go home and explain the bruises. Like, Superman, everything in the DC universe is all bright and clean and glossy. It's just like, oh, hey, we'll figure it out, and then the next issue we'll never talk about it again. And that's why they've been number 2 for 50 years.
But Dion, I gotta jump in and just ask what any of the things you just said have to do with pop culture. Like, how does that prove that it's important pop culture?
Like, feel free to close the dick window, but again, inventing the moniker of what a superhero is. I mean, that whole all the images and motions and things that you see superhero, the opening of the shirt, the standing in the sun with the cape behind him. I mean, DC came up with that. I mean, that's that affects multiple things in pop culture. I mean, they multiple other aspects of pop culture copied that from DC.
I mean, just look at Big Bang Theory and how often they reference
Big Bang Theory, because that show fucking sucks.
They still use references all the time for DC.
Because they're owned by Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers owns...
No, they even had Stan Lee on there.
The point is,
they always reference DC superheroes like Superman, Batman, Aquaman.
Because DC doesn't have a figurehead like Stan Lee. They had Julie Schwartz, who was like a 20th rate Stan Lee. DC has nothing. Talking about, we're going off the pop culture. I'll just bring it up for Marvel. Marvel is pop culture right now, okay? The entire movie calendar, we all talk about when something else is coming out. We're all like, oh, Doctor Strange could be cool. We were fucking counting down the days till Civil War. We all get pumped for this shit. Debate aside, we all love these movies. On every episode, you can hear us praise Civil War or something else, Winter Soldier, all these great things. Marvel is fucking pop culture. If pop culture had balls, Marvel's grabbing them, all right? We look for the Easter eggs, we engage in the lore, and we find the best parts. And they've never failed to deliver, just on the movies. And if you can't get your ass out to the theaters, you got comics, video games, TV shows. There is not a facet of pop culture that Marvel hasn't permeated. And if comic books are the great American art form, then Marvel is the great American art form, because Marvel is the great comic book company. And, with Star Wars...
They were so great, they wouldn't have been bought out by Disney to save their ass from bankruptcy.
They weren't in danger of bankruptcy, dude. The Marvel movies had already...
They were the first time when they sold Spider-Man and sold Fantastic Four.
Or sold the X-Men.
But you know what? It doesn't matter about their financial backing. It never took away their market share and where they were. All right? Spider-Man has always been bigger than everybody that DC has except Batman and Superman. And nowadays, he's bigger than everybody but Batman. Arguably, he's as big as Batman. You can't make that argument anymore. Like, you guys have if you...
But you're using the argument of right now. So if you're using right now, we can easily go back and talk about how...
Then Batman and Spider-Man are the 2 biggest characters, followed by Iron Man and Captain America, and whoever else is on the Avengers. Because right now, the Avengers are pop culture. That fucking...
Right now. But I can easily say in the 50s how incredibly popular Superman was. I mean,
he was the only game in town. Marvel didn't even
That's a subjective argument.
No, it's not a subjective argument. You're picking a point in time where something didn't exist. You can't use that as an argument. Superman has been around since 1938. Where were the Fantastic Four? Well, they weren't created yet, and it doesn't matter that they came out later. It's better. Penicillin is better than fucking bloodletting.
Their pop, you bringing up the pop culture referencing, even if without Fantastic Four, whoever isn't created back then, a huge thing back. People knew the fucking saying for Superman. People knew who was playing Superman.
Because
I mean, if anything,
only one, dude. There was
What?
it was DC was Superman, Batman, and then kind of Wonder Woman, and kind of Alan Scott Green Lantern, and kind of Jay Garrick Flash. Superman was the only real game in town. All you're doing is like picking the one thing that they had.
they were the only real
And the
game in
only-
time for comic books. So
Yeah.
I mean, even there are other parts of pop culture back then, especially
But we're not
even
talking
going
about
in the
fast
70s
pop
and the
culture,
80s.
because that's not pop
We said
culture.
pop. We didn't say just now pop culture.
But that's the
I'm assuming we were talking
definition of pop
overall.
culture. That's the definition of pop culture. Popular culture. You know, Buddy Holly
Right.
and the Big
So
Bob.
you're saying
Pop culture
only
doesn't just
current
exist
pop
in
culture.
2015.
But that is what popular culture is. If we're talking about like a certain decade, then we can, break it down even further. And all I was going to bring up is that Star Wars
Right,
comes and goes, and there are lulls where Star Wars isn't relevant, but Marvel's always been around. DC there's been so many times where their characters are on the brink of cancellation because they're not that relevant. All right, Batman, the show was popular in the 60s. The character was almost phased out because of the show is only what brought people in. The Marvel shit is either stayed consistent or gone up.
Yeah.
Thanks for agreeing, Joel. Dustin.
Pay attention, Joel. Goddamn.
There is no other franchise in the history of pop culture that is as referenced and parodied as Star Wars. It has
Maybe
cemented.
it's a joke.
Can you let me finish my fuck? God, you didn't even do one sentence, you fucking old creep. That was supposed to be funnier than it came across. I don't actually mean that, Joel. But no, the reality is, everyone makes Star Wars references. Everyone parodies Star Wars. Everyone does the opening scroll. Cartoons always parody Star Wars. Everyone knows the catchphrases. Everyone knows what a fucking lightsaber is. Everyone knows the phrase, I am your father. Some of them might say Luke at the beginning, but the fact is they still know the phrase, I am your father. It is, among everyone alive today, by far, across the planet, more popular than any of your guys' franchises. And it will always be.
Nope.
I wouldn't say always will be, and the first thing you bring up about Star Wars isn't even original to Star Wars. Again, it's ripped off. That scroll, literally straight out of the fucking Flash Gordon serials of
But
the
when
30s.
people use the scroll and parody it nowadays, it's from Star Wars.
But I'm just saying,
Everything-
all you're doing is taking and
everything in
recycling
Marvel-
something again. It takes away the
Everything
originality.
in Marvel has also been taken from somewhere else. Even fucking Spider-Man was taken from a Halloween costume. So
That's a debatable thing, all right? And that's an artistic design, all right? Darth Vader is ripped off a samurai armor. So if we're going to talk about and the fucking Empire is the SS, it's the fucking Nazis. There's nothing original there. So, I mean, for every
you
point...
can't cry originality about Marvel when they
You
do
can,
the
though, because Marvel, okay, like when you kill off Gwen Stacy, the first time they kill off a superhero's girlfriend that fucking stayed. What in Star Wars is unique besides the twist to all the bad guys actually my dad? And when break it down,
that's a very small twist compared to a character dying.
when you're talking about the realm of importance to that central thing, it's equally important.
You can't even say that Gwen Stacy's death.
The Spider-Man is as big as Darth Vader's revelation to Luke Skywalker, because if you were into the character, that shit stayed for about 20
But we're talking pop
years.
culture as a whole. Him being the dad is way more important to pop culture.
But the most popular Star Wars thing, he's not even the father. Like, the older I get, the dumber I think that twist is. Like, oh, I'm your father. Of all the fucking places in this giant galaxy to be, you're here right now. Like, that's just too much of a contrivance for me.
If you can't suspend your disbelief for a father and son ending up in the same time and space, but you can have a guy shooting cum out of his arms and swinging between skyscrapers, you might have to reevaluate your logic. And I see Joel laughing, and that makes me feel good.
Laughing at you.
I mean, Star Wars it's cool. Here's the thing about Star Wars and pop culture. People only talk about it when it's the cool thing to fucking do. If you notice, when we grew up, it was the cool thing to do to rip on the prequels, so everything made fun of the prequels. Then they stopped making Star Wars movies for a decade, and then this new one came out, so people were like, well, Star Wars is cool when it's coming out, so we're going to talk about it. Like, between 1984 and 1995, there wasn't shit for Star Wars. I've gone back and read books. They said the popularity of Star Wars died out right after Return of the Jedi. Star Wars toys are the most successful thing related to Star Wars. Way more successful than the movies. Anything else, Star Wars merchandise, especially those Kenner toys, has made more money than anything Star Wars related. So your biggest thing related to Star Wars, the interest died out immediately. It doesn't have the staying power. It took like 10 years for them to write a couple books and then to kind of re-bring it out on VHS. Like, there's never a point in time where a Marvel or a DC character is just gone for a decade at a time. Like
that is not true, because there are plenty of characters that are gone for a while and then come back in all comic book mediums. But are you talking about a side character? Because like for Spider-Man, there's always been a Spider-Man from 1962 to now. There's been a Spider-Man related product being shipped out monthly in comic book form. You said Marvel's been around for how many years?
Well, depends. How technical do you want to get? Spider-Man.
I'm asking you. So however you want to define it.
Well, Marvel Comics debuted when the Fantastic Four #1 debuted. So that's 1961. Spider-Man came out in 62.
So 55 years. 55 years Marvel's been around, and they've been popular for the past 10.
No, that's not correct.
Yeah, that is correct.
Dustin, look, you've only been into comic books since Civil War came out, when you heard some rumblings online. Dude, if you grew up in the 90s like everyone else did, the Marvel was all the fucking rage in the 90s. I mean, the sales were in the fucking millions again. The fucking characters were on everything. Even if some of the shit wasn't good, even DC of this. Joel knows how big the comic book boom of the 90s was. Bigger than any fucking thing. In the early 90s, from like, I don't know, we'll go with 80. Let's go from Dark Knight till about 1998. Comics were one of the biggest fucking things on the planet. You couldn't turn on...
So it ebbs and flows just like Star Wars. They were big for 10 years, and then they were gone for a while.
They don't... No, there's a difference. They don't go away. They don't go away.
Well, the difference because it's your side of the argument that you're trying to say, but they're the exact same at a base level.
Dustin, and you're trying to do it because it's your argument. You know, this base level bullshit. They don't go away. They're always there. Star Wars literally goes away. There was not a Star Wars piece of merchandise, entertainment that you could watch. You had the Caravan of Courage from the Ewoks, so let's say that made it to 1985. You didn't have another fucking Star Wars film until 1999. Between that,
you had novels to keep them alive until then. That was barely doing it.
You had some books, you had some comic books, and you re-released a toy line. That's all you had for Star Wars for a long...
Crazy that 3 movies were way more popular than decades and decades of fucking cartoon comic books.
Star Wars is not even... I mean, Star Wars is cartoon on film, man. I mean, we're talking about...
It took them 3 films to do what it's taken decades of comic books to do.
It doesn't matter. That's not really fair. True. I'm not going to say fair. It's not true, because what Marvel did...
And that's apples and oranges.
Yeah. You're comparing one medium to another. That'd be like, that's it.
Comparing board games to video games.
Yeah, board games to video games.
Is this whole debate comparing different mediums?
No, we're comparing different franchises of characters. They all exist in the same mediums, Dustin.
Not of characters. Characters is one of the subset questions. It's not just the characters. It's the whole. I came up with a fucking debate. I would know.
I'm not arguing that you're wrong. So chill out, first of all, goddammit. But while you're trying to break it down, like, well, they exist in different mediums. No, they're the same medium. They're entertainment. It's all entertainment.
One thing we couldn't explain them across. It's not fair to compare different mediums. I didn't say that. That was you guys.
I didn't fucking say that. I'm talking about the overall pop culture relevance.
Yes.
Hey,
which one is more popular?
We haven't heard from DC in a second.
Say it again.
We haven't heard from DC in a second. What do you guys have?
I started the whole pop culture thing.
Yeah, he was the first one.
I started it.
Yeah, like 10 minutes ago. I'm asking. We haven't heard anything recently. It's just been me and Jeff yelling at each other.
Because you've been destroying each other's arguments. Well, more Jeff destroying yours, but...
Oh, I wonder why you'd say that, because you're his friend.
Where are you?
You're not his friend, asshole.
I am Jeff's friend, but we're going head to head.
But no, anyway. In terms of pop culture, DC is the biggest. It doesn't matter what time period, especially going off of the whole argument about being relevant, staying relevant. Superman, Batman, DC, the Justice League. They weren't always the top selling, but again, you knew who these characters were. Overall pop culture relevance has always been there. DC, Superman, Batman, the biggest. Even in, Star Wars was fucking hot for a minute, but again, they destroyed themselves, and then they waited for forever and came out with 3 really boring, shitty prequels. I mean, and again, even then, you still knew who the fuck Superman was.
Yeah, I would say if you take... You're talking about every generation knows Star Wars.
Right. From
I mean, I say more
franchises beginning to now.
I say more people know, like, Superman's probably the most identifiable fictional character ever.
By far.
I read some article probably a couple years ago that said, like, 90% of the population could recognize the Superman S or the Batman logo or Superman. Like, DC does have relevance, but not as much. You guys are like, everything you can argue about DC sits on 2 characters and maybe like 3 good movies. Like, DC is now the punchline. Like I said earlier, DC is the punchline for comic book movies.
But even being the punchline, being able to hold that relevance is saying something in terms of recognizing the brand. And if there's a brand that is incredibly recognized, even if it's just behind the one Superman symbol, it's fucking DC. I mean, Marvel has a great catalog, multiple superheroes that you can look at and recognize, but even knowing that as a fact, the most recognizable of all of them is Superman.
All right. Well, all we want to do is keep talking about characters.
Yeah, I'm loving that part.
I guess we should move on to the hypothetical.
I was going to say,
Sure,
I think we should try and move it on to why is your franchise the one that deserves to continue existing?
Oh, hi, Loudy. I didn't know you were here.
I'm sorry.
fuck, dude.
Hey,
He's being an impartial judge.
Exactly. As the judge, you guys have to convince me who the fuck is the best. So why do I need to say anything when I need to be convinced?
Touche, I'll give you that one, man. That was actually a good point. Shit.
Yeah, Dion. By the way, Dion,
All right, man.
your argument about hold on, you said something during the debate that I wanted to bring up. Feel free to close the dick window is going to be made into a T-shirt.
That's that T-shirt 13. Is that T-shirt 13, 12? I like it. I like it.
I just thought that was the greatest thing you've said all year.
Thank you. I try to up myself every episode.
All right, so Dustin had a good question. Hypothetically, imagine a universe in which only one of the 3 franchises can exist. Not just in the future, but the present and past as well, meaning all memories or feelings that you get from the franchises are erased. What is your franchise? Which one of the franchises deserves to continue existing? Dion, do you want to go?
Sure. I mean, I think I can start and end it. I mean, obviously, I'd want to stick with DC. I mean, the one that's been around, whatever iteration, as like Jeff said earlier, is in depth as we want to get, is DC Comics. And even so, like I said, even when other things were cool, whether it be Marvel, whether it be Star Wars, everyone knows Superman. So even if things, Spider-Man didn't exist, or George Lucas never stole shit from Japan and came up with Star Wars, we would still have that undeniable brand of Superman, of Batman, of these characters that were created fucking 70 years ago, and they'd still be able on some level to relate. They'd want to read them. They still want to read them. You'd still have great cartoons, great, some of the movies are pretty good, great cartoons, merchandise, what have you. You'd have a recognizable brand, a recognizable stable of comic characters. And again, Marvel's catalog is very good, but again, DC's catalog is still something that would be able to continue for years, decades at a time. I mean, it's pretty simple.
Well, see, you could try to argue that without Superman, Marvel wouldn't exist, but the only reason Superman's at DC is because, let's say, here's the hypothetical why I would say Marvel exists. Everything about Superman, or DC, is based on the existence of Superman. Siegel and Schuster could have easily went to Timely Comics, and you could have had the exact same setup. All those characters could have just been under a different thing, and Marvel could have built from that. And once you get to the Marvel existing phase, it's not like Marvel's ripping off the characters or the storylines. Everything about Marvel pretty much existed prior to like Star Wars. So it's been.
I thought you were going to say DC. I'm like, what?
No. So, but the thing is, it's not as dependent on Star Wars as Star Wars is dependent on it. If Star Wars didn't exist, Marvel would have continued the exact same path. You would have still had your intergalactic space stuff. You would have had almost all of your core Marvel characters. All the big X-Men, they were all out before Star Wars. All the big Avengers, Spider-Man, all that stuff existed pre-Star Wars. Marvel. The thing is, Marvel. The only thing Marvel really did in Star Wars' favor was like print the Star Wars comic, which, every other place turned Star Wars down. Star Wars could have been a fucking flop if not for the right people in the right places. Thankfully, Marvel was one of those people that they needed.
I know how big Star Wars was in my childhood. I know how big it is in my kids' childhood, my siblings, and in your guys's. And I can say with certainty that, not counting wrestling, I never had a more fulfilling experience than I did watching Star Wars, playing with the action figures, and talking about it with you guys, my friends. So to me, to pick either Marvel or DC and then to erase all that goodness that I got from Star Wars would be ridiculous. And I think deep down that's how it is with you guys.
I disagree 100%, and I'm not
disagree.
just trying to argue with you. Before I knew what Star Wars was, I was a Spider-Man fan. I was watching the cartoons, playing the games, buying comic books. I got into Star Wars in the first grade, and if not for Star Wars, I would have still become friends with you because wrestling is what our friendship is built on. Actually, everyone here. I met you guys through liking wrestling. We didn't strike up conversations about Star Wars. Star Wars is almost secondary. Like, oh, you like Star Wars too? Cool.
Jeff, for us, it was comics, even though I saw you first with wrestling.
That's true, but I'm just saying it put us in the fucking same place. I do have good feelings towards Star Wars, but those are gone, and it's been replaced with, like, I just can't believe that.
Disdain.
Yeah, disdain. Like, I can't believe it's turned into, like, how shitty it is. Like, I would rather live in a world without Star Wars than live in a world where Star Wars is stupid and everyone's fucking drinking the Kool-Aid. You know? It's probably going to take a decade and people are going to come off the high of the seventh one. They're going to realize, well, maybe it wasn't as good as we all thought. But you know what? It'll be too late. The billions will be counted. It'll be considered a success. And through time, the money will equal success. So, that aside, I can live in a Marvel-friendly childhood. I mean, I did like Batman the Animated Series, but for as much as I like that, I watched X-Men, I watched Spider-Man. And nothing in Star Wars has ever wanted me to change the direction of my life. I didn't watch Star Wars and go, I'm going to be a scientist. I'm going to go to space. No, I watched and read Marvel books and said, man, I want to learn how to draw like that. That's something I'm interested in. Beyond just a level of entertainment and who it entertains in my life, Marvel's changed who I want to be. So that's why I can't see myself living in a world where I don't want to draw or be creative. Marvel definitely fostered that. The first art book I ever bought was How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way. DC can go by the wayside. I'll still be a comic book fan. And, I mean, Star Wars is cool, but, like I said, I would have more money and live just an equally fulfilled life without it.
Yeah. For me, it's good. In DC, it's just like, growing up with all these great storylines, because I've been reading them since '84, which was before all you guys were even breathing or sucking on your mom's tits. And
other dudes' dicks. If we're gonna go that direction.
No, that's not the same thing, man. That's not even the same thing.
Apples to oranges, or in this case, tits to dicks. You know.
Don't forget the nuts.
The wrong gone.
I just imagine myself in that universe. I'd rather be living in the DC universe than in all the hate that's in Marvel back and forth, and the fact that you wouldn't know what the fuck's going on and to like 6 months later if you were living in the Star Wars universe. Living in DC universe, it was like, you know what's going on. It might be just a little bit after, but you'd see Superman show up. You'd be fucking, like, you know, inspired. You don't get, you know, you see Spider-Man show up. Oh, is he going to fucking save the day or not? We don't know. He might get his ass beat to a bloody pulp, but Superman shows up, you feel, you know, a little more confident that he's going to save the day.
Because he's invincible, but if Spider-Man gets beat up and
he's
comes
not
back...
invincible.
Okay, if you're going to find a kryptonite rock, cool, but like Spider-Man gets his ass beat and comes back the next day to fight, I think that's more inspirational.
He's been almost beat to death before.
Yeah, but you're bringing up like a 1 or 2 time point to try to argue a point that would be negative towards my character when you're picking, you're cherry picking events. Let's talk about the good averages here. Superman, 9 times out of 10, he swoops in and saves the fucking day. In the comic book, he ended fucking World War II by flying to Germany and Russia and picking up Hitler and Stalin, bringing them to the United Nations and preventing World War II. So I'm just, you know, Superman's life is a breeze. I wouldn't use those trials and tribulations to benefit your argument.
Go on. Someone just text me. Something important at work.
Motherfucker, fucking.
You know what? I liked you better when you were dead last week, motherfucker.
Get the cock out of your mouth.
I'm glad no one argued that The Walking Dead or the Image Image universe into this argument. Because The Walking Dead sucks.
Garbage.
Fuck Image.
I wouldn't say fuck Image. They're very important.
No, they're not.
They were?
What?
No. They came onto the scene with tits and ass, and that was their only redeeming trait.
And you're the first person to run off to see Battleship, so shut the fuck up.
That's America, bitch.
So is Image, man. Rob Liefeld is
No,
a goddamn...
fuck Rob Liefeld. If that man died of a heart attack, I'd send his wife some flowers and say, bitch, he deserved it.
He's coming to town this year at the Comic Expo. You want to come meet him?
No, because I'll probably see him in New York's Comic Con.
I'm gonna get you an autograph of Rob Liefeld.
Do not fucking do it.
I have your autograph, or I have your address. I'm gonna mail you that.
Yeah, dude. You know what? It sucks, man. My first comic convention and my fucking bucket list artist was there. Everything else is downhill.
Well, I never get to meet John Romita because he's retiring officially from everything, and so is Stan Lee. So that's sad.
I think he's going to be at Comic-Con.
I know, it's his last one. One thing to count yours down, Joel and Dion, like, the people behind the scenes are, like, much more prolific, too. Like, you can name bunches of people that were that contributed to Marvel. DC, you know, is so corporate and, like, faceless. They don't have a soul. Like, everything in the DC universe looked the same for 20 years.
Did Dion freeze?
I think he's...
Oh, no, I thought you guys froze for a minute. My bad. that misunderstand.
Honestly, I had to give you that, Jeff, yes, but that's because DC is actually owned by a giant conglomerate of Warner Brothers. Now, Marvel's being the same way because they're being told to push certain agendas by Disney.
Well, we'll talk about that after the debate.
And even if you're going to bring up the faceless corporation, I mean, again, that's one reason why fucking Spider-Man just got ruined, because they got turned into a goddamn money cash grab by Sony. I mean, even after Sony got hacked, I mean, you see the fucking main actor.
But Dion, the point that you're trying to drive home, it's over, though, all right? Like,
you brought it back up with the whole faceless grammar thing. I'm just bringing it up.
The war's over. Like, you can keep... I hated... Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man.
You brought it up.
I didn't bring it up. I brought up
the faceless conglomerate thing. I'm just reiterating the point that this is another issue that Marvel also deals with. That's all I'm saying.
The literal people that created the books. Those people have more of an identity and a little more relevance in pop culture than anything that went behind DC.
I give you
Here's
that.
the thing. Everyone knows who Stan Lee is. We talked about, like, going on the street. Who's Stan Lee? Most people are going to know he's a comic book guy. They may not know that, like, who created Batman or who created Superman and shit, but if you go, like, who's Stan Lee, and if you're in the know, like, who did he create, you're going to get a list of characters.
No, I'll give you that one, yeah. Stan Lee's definitely a more visible face of the Marvel franchise than anyone at DC, that's for damn sure.
Yeah. What else are we going to say about this?
DC wins.
Nib High Football rules?
I second vote up right here. DC wins.
Like I told you guys, the listener decides, not us.
Oh, fuck, yeah. I mean,
Eric decides.
We have a judge
on the show.
What's up, guys? That's me.
He's just the moderator.
Yeah. I moderated very well.
You did.
I just let you guys go at it.
Your rhino shirt.
Yeah. You know, with the Y and not the I.
You're goring the...
Yeah.
That's a gory shirt.
Stuff on the back? Gore Tour?
Ha!
I get it. That Rhino fella, he's a real smart ticker.
Yo, I'll tell you what.
Don't let him piss off.
He's the bee's knees, guys.
I don't want to be bee's knees.
What?
I don't want to be the bee's knees.
No one fucking asked what you wanted. Now shut up.
No. Your moderation is true.
All right. So, I broke it down by the 4 basic questions and, you know, pretty much just how I felt each argument was presented. I'll start off by saying that Star Wars was the first thing that I actually fell in love with as a kid. I was all about, you know, I still have my Millennium Falcon, my X-Wing fighter. I still have, you know, Darth Maul and all that shit. But sadly, Star Wars won none of these categories.
Oh!
So, as life went on for old Loudy, first thing I ever saw was X-Men, followed by the animated Batman series. So let's get this started. I'm very split between all arguments that were presented. I gave the stories category to DC, characters and pop culture to Marvel, and I'll be honest. And pop culture. I gave existence to DC, but overall, I'm saying Marvel wins the argument.
What?
If I wasn't busy tomorrow, I would put in a sound effect of a crowd applauding me.
You ain't got no crowd, motherfucker. You got my disdain.
That's all I ever wanted, Dion. All I ever fucking wanted was your disdain.
Son of a bitch.
So this was a debate that turned into the main feature. I thought it was way more important than anything that happened this week. Like, who gives a shit, honestly, about what's coming out? Does anyone plan on going to see a movie this week?
What's coming out?
I'm probably gonna go see a movie that came out a month ago.
X-Men?
I don't know, man. I'll probably go see. My whole thing is I hate that the fucking Jean Grey, they picked the bitch from Game of Thrones. I can't stand her anyway in Game of Thrones, let alone want to see her just for the whole fucking movie. But
I see fire.
It's X-Men, and I
Just watch the podcast or listen to the podcast from 2 weeks ago, and you'll see the entire movie.
Thank you, Loudy.
See, I already did. I see, and it's actually the podcast that made me want to, because I originally wasn't going to see it at all. Then I listened to the podcast, and Jeff and you guys talked it up a little bit. I was like, shit.
I mean, there were some really good parts to it. I mean, we touched on that a couple weeks ago. But for as much as we liked about it, there were also some pretty big things that were wrong with it. But we can always at least say that it was not Batman versus Superman.
True. Like I said, man, DC is now the punchline.
For good reason, man.
Well, no, the comic book industry in general is a punchline. They only had the movies. And the animation.
I wasn't gonna say that during the argument, but fuck both of them. Like, I hate Marvel. I won't even buy your books anymore, Marvel. The guy that wanted to be a Marvel artist, I lost interest in it because you're a fucking joke. Like, I don't want to read stories about brown Spider-Man. Like, I'm not even white. I want to read white Spider-Man stories, Create a new character and make him black. I'll buy your fucking book. Don't give me race swap Thor or gender swap Thor. I want white dude Thor. Hell, go back to Donald Blake Thor. I want classic shit. I don't want your reinterpretation to try to sell a new #1 for 5 minutes. You know what? I have all the respect in the world right now for DC because Rebirth was excellent.
The only thing, that's the reason why I can't stand Marvel is because it's forced diversity. But with Marvel, it's pandering to millennials, and everything's got to be so edgy. Can we really trust Superman? He's a freaking alien, and he can just, slaughter us. Look at the movie. Just because he might, even a 1% chance, Batman says, we need to take him out? What kind of fucking reasoning is that?
Well, that part I can get with. I mean, if that were to happen in the real world, that's exactly how people would do it. The problem with Batman vs. Superman, and by the way, I do want to point out how we totally called it when we saw the fucking preview. So, listeners, make sure you tell your friends we called that shit before anybody else did. But the problem was the fucking story. I don't have a problem that Batman would say, okay, this dude's a threat. Metropolis was destroyed. My fucking problem is all the random bullshit. I don't need to see Batman having a fucking dream about the Flash seeing him and saying it's because of her. I don't want to see a future vision of Superman becoming evil and people. That should not have been in that movie.
Actually,
I don't want to see
Dion. I actually think what they're trying to give a future reference to is that Superman becomes Injustice. That their future storyline for the movie is Injustice.
But if your intro movie is jam-packed with all bullshit from future movies, you lose sight of what you're fucking making that first movie on. That's what happened. The movie should have been about Batman versus Superman. And if you wanted Doomsday to be at the end, that would have been an awesome twist. That would have been a phenomenal twist. But you fucking shoved all this bullshit into the film, and I don't want to see Superman and fucking Lois. Oh, I have to go do this. Fucking do it. I don't care about the love story. I know who Lois Lane is. You don't have to push that in my face again. They push so much bullshit into them.
And Joel, you brought up about how they try to pander to millennials, and I agree 100%. I mean, technically everyone on this show but you is a millennial, but there was some comic blog that I recently saw, and as soon as I find the name, I'll post it on World Class Bullshitters. But it said 60 to 80% of the comic book readers are aged 22 to 60 something. Why are you? I mean, it's cool to try to get in a new audience, but I'd rather milk the audience that I have that are going to show up every Wednesday to buy my books, as opposed to I'm going to get the young kids that have the attention span of 5 minutes. I told you guys that I recently not recently reread, but I caught up on all the new Spider-Man. It is the worst fucking comic book series I've ever read. It is complete garbage, and I'm glad I don't buy it. I'll admit it. I read it online for free. That is bullshit. Now I'll go buy the classic shit, because Marvel doesn't see any money from that. but I will not give him any money on these new titles. They're garbage. It stinks. Like, I can't verbally express how disappointed I was, like how emotionally gutted I was, like, you know, still from the Star Wars review, when I read all this bullshit. Spider-Man, in one issue, dude, he's in China, the next one he's in London, then he's in outer space. Does that sound like Spider-Man to you, Dion?
It does not. It does not. I mean, whenever they put him in outer space, when it was good, you know, there was a reason. There was a reason behind it. He was teaming up with Iron Man. He was teaming up with the Avengers. There was Spider-Man's not just going to wake up one day and shit, I got to go chase so and so into space to stop him. You know, that's not something that's going to happen.
That's what, dude. In this book, Nick Fury and him, Spider-Man and Nick Fury went to space to blow up some satellites, and then Spider-Man jumped off a space station and fucking parachuted to the ground from outer space.
Oh, so they turned him into a fucking secret agent?
It's stupid, and then he fights some dudes in China. It's garbage. Like, Dan Slott is the worst comic book writer, and I'm not one of these people that cares about who writes the books, but that name, I will never buy a comic with his name on it. He is fucking garbage.
Fuck that guy.
But I did read Spider-Man Spider-Man Deadpool, and that was pretty fucking funny.
Really?
Yeah, written by somebody else completely different.
It's just, if they can get those independent storylines, you know, to be the overarching ones, that'd be so much better, man. It's like, god damn it. Pisses me off.
Dustin, how's Civil War 2?
I didn't pick up one because I went in with a few bucks in my pocket and didn't realize it was $6.
What?
The Civil War issue 1 is $6. It's $5.99.
That is a ripoff, dude.
Jesus Christ.
Because I had just picked up the DC Rebirth, that big 80-pager with no ads or anything in it, for $2.99. So you're going to expect me to turn around, get a book a third that size, with a bunch of fucking Snickers advertisements in it. That is ridiculous.
What did you think of Rebirth?
I haven't finished it yet. I got through the second part, and for being unfamiliar with a lot of the characters, I'm actually really enjoying it. I mean, it might go against what avid readers like, but I have enjoyed everything so far, and I cannot wait for the Dr. Manhattan teaser at the end.
I see where you're talking about the avid reader. I think your average DC reader wants to go back to the pre-Flashpoint days. And you said you're reading it in sections, dude. I was so pumped to buy that book. I sat down instantly and read it in one sitting. I even bought the Superman title that came out that week with it, like Superman 52 or something like that.
How was it?
It was a great story. It was so good that I instantly boarded and bagged it and put it in my box. Put it like that.
Nice.
The book deserves respect. I know you don't like Superman, and I'm not that big of a fan either, but that particular issue of Superman, I can't recommend it enough.
Well, I also heard that Max Landis did like a limited run.
Yep.
I hear that was like phenomenal. Have you checked that out yet?
I almost bought it, and then I realized Max Landis is a little too... Actually, I've read one of his stories before, and I wasn't in love with it, so I put it back.
What did you like about his style?
He's like schizophrenic. I really want a coherent story. Like, I have a great attention span. I know this is off topic, but like the movie Hot Fuzz. A lot of people don't like that movie because it's a long, slow build, and then it's a huge payoff. I'll sit through a long, slow build. I don't like jumping to different points. Like, I'll work through a story to get to that big payoff. Max Landis is just so frantic in real life and in his art that I couldn't get into it.
True, I will say, but his Wrestling Isn't Wrestling video was phenomenal.
It's great.
It was great, but it works because it is like that, you know? I don't think a Superman story where he fights the Joker...
Oh, I didn't realize he fought the Joker. I read a review about the last issue, and it said he fought some extraterrestrial, which didn't interest me, but...
Oh, no. I'm talking about a different story. I didn't pick up American Alien. I read The Adventures of Superman, Volume 2, Number 14, written by Max Landis, where Superman fights the Joker. I wasn't in love with it. It was the last issue of The Adventures of Superman I ever read, put it like that.
Okay.
So I like Max Landis. He's a guy, I tweet him all the time on our Twitter for World Class Bullshitters, because I want to get him on our show, dude. Like, the other week he posted, when I was a kid, nothing got me harder than watching the Green and Pink Ranger make out. I said, that's how I felt about your dad's beard. So I just tweet him the most inappropriate shit to get his attention.
Oh, have they announced when Watchmen are going to be integrated more into the stories in the future?
If you read the end of your issue, you'll find out.
So it does say when they reappear, though?
Well, not really. There's more Watchmen shit than you think.
Okay.
It's not a lot, but I mean, I'm waiting for Joel's ass to get back here so he can talk about it. There he is. Joel, did you read DC Rebirth?
I skimmed through it. It was somebody else's copy.
Well, I'm going to send you a link to read it online right now, and you need to read it.
I like the fact that the Flash kept popping up to people that he knew but didn't know him until the last second. That Barry saves his ass.
You know, Dustin, if you enjoy Rebirth, you should check out Flashpoint at one point.
Is that? I'm assuming that's collected in a big omnibus.
It's only 5 issues, but yeah, it exists in a trade.
Okay.
It was, man, I thought it was. Joel, you and I read that together when it was new. We were so
And it was
excited.
great. Unfortunately, it led to the New 50 crap.
Hey, I won't argue there. New 52 was not good, but
New 52 is nothing more than Image 2.0. You had Jim Lee in charge, and he didn't want to let go.
well, it's over. What do you guys think about Superman's new design?
I mean, it's just Superman's monotonous anyway, and I didn't get excited about it. I mean, I didn't have an issue with it because when I first saw it was when you had posted it when you first saw it and you would send it to me or put it on the chat or whatever, you know. And it's hard for me to get excited about Superman, but I didn't have a problem with this suit. I mean, it looked, you know, I guess.
I just want the classic design to come back, man. I mean,
You want the
I
20
understand
trunks
why
on the
they
outside.
don't want to do that. I mean, I get that, you know, but it's just, yeah, it's tough to get away from that and make it people excited about it. So
Well,
I where you're
the
coming
people
from,
that
but-
complain about that he's got trunks on the outside of his pants, you know, isn't really your core audience anyway. Not once as a kid did I go, oh my god, Superman has his underwear on the outside of his pants. I just thought it was part of his costume. Like, but Batman, that just seems natural for their design.
Think about it, there's not a single iconic picture since before New 52 of Superman without the trunks that stands up to like John Byrne's Superman.
Oh, I agree 100%, dude.
That's all the way back in freaking mid-'80s. I mean, him standing there with the wind blowing, you know, looking over like Kansas or whatnot, wherever he's at. I mean, yeah, the trunks you can say, yeah, it's kind of weird, but it just stands out as more iconic than I'm wearing an all-blue straight suit with
the little red thingy is my belt.
Yeah,
It's like,
you know, it's so monotonous. I mean, at least the red broke up the monotony.
Yeah, that's what I feel about the new Spider-Man costume. I just don't like... What? Go ahead.
I was gonna say, you know, what's weird is that the Scarlet Spider, the black and red was actually kind of nice looking.
The Scarlet Spider was... Oh, you mean the Kane Scarlet Spider?
Kane, yeah, but that looked actually pretty damn good.
Yeah. Spider-Man, I love the black suit. Like, I think I like that as much as I like the fucking original costume.
I could agree with that. Especially, I was super excited when he brought it back in Civil War. I was like, fuck yeah.
Oh, the original Civil War?
Yeah, the first,
That's one thing I hate about Marvel now. If we talk about Civil War, it's like, which one? Secret Wars, which one? You know, at least DC's not giving you 7 series called Crisis on Infinite Earths. You got Final Crisis and Infinite Crisis, but they're different titles.
Yeah.
And have nothing really to do with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, Identity Crisis, Final Crisis, Crisis Infinity Earth. DC gets stuck on things like 52 and the word crises. That's all.
Well, hopefully Jeff Johns is going to focus more of his attention on the movies as opposed to the comics, because I think he's lost his golden touch on his comics.
Well, it's because he's not doing it as much. He's so spread out with what he's doing in being in charge.
It's sad.
When we were last together, you know, back in Ohio, and I was all hyped about Blackest Night. I mean, as to me, even if not more so, more entertaining than Crises, because the side books with Crises weren't all that interesting, but the side books with the Blackest Night were really relevant because everyone was facing off against someone in their past who was now in front of them trying to kill them.
Joel, do you remember when we used to read Avengers vs. X-Men?
Yeah.
I loved that story. I know you weren't that big a fan of it, but I bought everything. Dion, have you ever read it?
Fuck yeah. I ended up, I bought, you know me, I only like the whole
Trades.
Trades, yeah. So that's what I bought that. The minute that it became a trade, I bought that shit.
Loudy, we got
What
to
do
get
you
you
click on to read it?
All right, I'll put that if you guys read this. It's called Legend of the Mantamagi. It's actually a pretty decent graphic novel. It's a 3-part series. I've only read the first one, but it's pretty good. It's not DC or Marvel.
What's it? Who's the publisher?
Publisher. Let's see here. It's And Action Entertainment. This came out a year and a half ago or so. Actually, when I was still working at T-Mobile, I had a customer who was working on it, and they have a live action trailer or an animated movie trailer too, but no one's picked it up yet. It's actually I'm only on the first one, but it's pretty good. It's actually I know you guys are talking about new fresh character. It doesn't as far as a new black fresh character goes, and main character in here is black. He's the district attorney. So that's all I'm going to tell you guys, which I know isn't shit, but check it out.
Yeah. I'm not white, so I'm all. It doesn't really matter, but I'm all for different colored characters in comics. But don't with Spider-Man. It's so there's the midget Italian lady, there's the Indian girl, there's the black guy, there's the Asian guy. Spider-Man has to be the poster child for this diversity thing, and it worked in the 60s when it was natural. Right. But now this new movie, I'm worried because Spider-Man's best friends are the Indian kid from what's that? Grand Budapest Hotel and some random black chick and all this other shit. It's it's where the fuck's Mary Jane and Gwen Stacy and Liz Allen? Liz Allen's white, not Hispanic.
The vanilla.
I'm just saying, man, that's gonna be the first Marvel misstep if they try to do what they did with the Amazing Spider-Man. Dion, are you alive?
Yeah, I'm alive. I'm picking my spouse because my internet's being a punk ass bitch.
You haven't really been cutting out since that one time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So feel free to cut in because you always got something witty to say.
I try.
I want to smack you down.
Ooh, you'll try, bitch. You'll try, bitch.
Many have tried, but they have failed. So, Joel, did you get the site working now?
I'm on that site, and I'm clicking on the cover. I'm clicking on DC Rebirth. It's not working.
What you need to do is the exact link I sent you.
The
latest one.
Oh.
I resent you a link with it that goes directly to the book, because what you got to do is you got to scroll down to the page and it'll tell you what issues are there. And since this is a one-issue book, it looks like it has less than it, but it's all here. I bought the thing, so I don't feel guilty reading it digitally anymore.
Oh, here, yeah.
I was saying, man, if there's I read the Galactus trilogy last night. It was not that good.
I'm looking at it right now. For me.
You got it, Joel?
Yeah, I got it.
You were the first person I thought of when I saw this website. Because, I'm not going back and buying trade paperbacks. I'm a single-issue guy. Well, I guess we'll move on to our fan mail. It's been pretty light. We've got a lot of subscribers since we've last all met. We've jumped to 518, so that's pretty damn awesome. Nice. I think we've jumped up in subscribers more than Fat Axl Rose gained weight this past week.
Welcome to the kitchen,
but not as much still.
I was going to say, who got diabetes quicker?
Phil or Axel?
Yeah.
Axel was just aided by all the cocaine, but Phil and those goddamn not your father root beers, it's a close race.
I almost feel bad about you making that joke because he almost died, but no.
It was just so goddamn funny.
To the listener out there who's like, what are you guys talking about? You finally stopped screaming at each other. Well, Phil went to go see Deadpool with his cousin, and he got drunk beforehand, and he drank a whole bunch of Not Your Father's root beer. And because he's a diabetic, and because Not Your Father's root beer is a really sweet drink, it has a lot of extra yeast. So that yeast ate the sugar in his body, and he had low blood sugar and passed out on the toilet. Dustin's silence is amazing. It's just
I could have sworn that Phil said that he's been
there's
cured
no
of
follow-up to
diabetes.
that, guys. There's no punchline of that. Phil drank something, and then it caused him to pass out because of the beatus.
It sucks to be him.
And it's awesome. It is hilarious.
So, our Star Wars video will not die. I get fucking comments on it every day. But now, I get a lot of comments on the Rogue One video. Did you guys hear about those? We talked about the Rogue One reshoots, didn't we, last week?
Yep.
Okay, we did. Okay, just checking. I didn't want us to miss an important topic that our listeners would want us to cover. So this week we have 2 pieces of fan mail. First comes from Justin B6699 discussing Star Wars Rogue One. He says, I wouldn't have cared for the reshoots, but apparently there's going to be a scene where Vader lays to waste a group of rebels after they joked about the boogeyman with the magic powers. I'd watch the movie for that cool-sounding scene alone, but it's either being cut or being watered down. So, Jeff, get an insulin pen ready to see what comes of that. Because I said I'd go into a diabetic coma even though I'm not a diabetic. And then he says...
That's the joke.
And then also he goes, Power Rangers all the way, except for sexual appeal. I mean, come on, who wouldn't want to jump in bed with Krang or the Turtles, man? I'm getting heated up just thinking about it. Seriously, though, April over the original female Rangers. All right, well, April's a cartoon character, because I thought the movie April was not that attractive, but that's just me. And then our good buddy and number 1 fan of the show, Noah R. writes in, finally graduated from high school. It's been a busy month or 2, but I'm back to regular podcast schedule. Hope all is well. Noah, all is well, and we're very proud of you that you graduated from high school. But take it from me, whatever you do not get private student loans. I learned that the hard way, and it'll be fucking me in the ass for a while. So go government, and they'll take care of you.
Now, don't listen to these guys, because I actually work for a company that promotes taking out private student loans. So I can send you a link for the benefits of private student loans.
Oh, God.
Don't click it. It'll just take you to fucking
You
transfer.
piece of shit.
And Noah, I'll send you a scan of my bill.
Did you call my wife? Did you call my fucking wife about her loans, you piece of shit?
I just write articles promoting and trying to trick high school kids into throwing their lives away on credit cards.
That's a great idea.
Well,
true story, actually.
Well, Children of America, I am not a
I could hear your soul crack a little bit when you said that last part.
Bullshit!
Oh, it was
What
hard.
soul?
Oh, he's not ginger.
That we know.
Easy, Joel. That was a hard one to fall for.
No more Doctor Who jokes, Joel. No one watches it anymore.
I do.
Are you watching the new shit?
Yeah.
How is it?
Personally, I like it, but I mean, I feel like I'm one of those guys that's easily entertained. Like with a show that I really enjoy, like I started the new generation from series 1 with Eccleston and whatnot, and watched it all the way through up until the Christmas special with Capaldi this past December. My girlfriend loves me because, you know, I guess I'm one of those committing guys. You know, I'm committing to a series like that, so what the hell? But personally, I like it. I see no problems with it. But, you know, fuck you.
Kiss ass.
You're just a committing bitch. That's all I'm hearing. Awkward silence.
I didn't catch a damn word of that because it was all quiet as shit.
All I said is you sound like a committing bitch.
Yeah.
You know, hey, to each his own. I'm never knocking you for your choices of entertainment unless you like Twilight or... You know, if you like the fucking Hunger Games, that's where I draw the line. Like, I could see you suffering through Twilight for a girlfriend, but Hunger Games is just so dumb on so many levels.
I'd rather stick my dick in a porcupine and drink bleach than watch either of those series.
I was with you till the bleach part.
Maybe Lysol.
Porcupine, but you wouldn't drink bleach.
I might come from the porcupine. Bleach will just fuck me up internally.
So many more questions need to be followed after that last statement.
Like,
yeah.
What? About having a bleached asshole?
Well, no, particularly about the inserting porcupines and then that arousing you to the fact where you come on said porcupine.
I'll have a dog eat ass. Only you know what that's from. Only you know what that's from, Dion.
Jeff, don't you go be
So
in
good.
Hey, I won't give you that satisfaction. But that was pretty much our show. We would love to do more debates. I think they're fun. If our friends that committed to being here but then backed out at 0 hour would have been here, I'm sure this debate would have been just as good because the other guys probably wouldn't have said jack shit.
That's
I would have been up with Phil, which would have been...
Hold on. Let me do Phil. Well, I really don't know much about comics or Star Wars. I was kind of sheltered. I was living in a closet. My parents fed me like Tostitos and rancid pop.
What's rancid pop? It goes.
I know. Pop gets rancid, old man.
It's called Coke.
Oh, is that before you guys used to boil everything back in the 30s?
Did somebody say Coke?
After graduation, Dustin. After graduation.
You know what? If your kids graduate college or high school valedictorian, you got 17 rails waiting for me.
I'm gonna push them to be the nerdiest little motherfuckers.
You do it, man. And I'm not talking like little shitty rows. I'm talking like pixie stick style.
Ooh.
Like
My nose is on fire.
Your nose is gonna just walk away from your body and say, "Nope, fuck it, I quit." Like you will be fucking annihilated because of me. That's how good of a friend we are, or I am to you. Like, maybe we'll jump in a time machine and do it tomorrow so you can experience it right away.
Deal. And then keep doing it over and over again by jumping back in the time machine.
What we'll do is I'll get a time machine and we'll go back to 1980s Miami where you can buy cocaine on every corner.
Mm.
I'll just listen
Is that like plutonium or uranium
pants.
on every 7-Eleven? You can buy uranium in Back to the Future?
Thank you, Joel. You got the reference.
You can probably buy uranium on every corner in 1985, but here in 1955, it's kind of hard to come by.
Well said.
Plastic movie.
I just want to go back to when you brought up Coke in 95 on every corner, and Dustin just goes,
Theon,
That was so good.
With me. I'll take you back with me. What we'll do,
Dude, yeah.
While Dustin's snorting his fucking 8 miles of coke, you and I are gonna write Beverly Hills Cop versus Miami Vice.
Now my question is,
Yeah, we are. I knew you were gonna say that shit too. I knew it.
Haha, threw that shit before I even came in the room.
Fuck yeah, we're gonna get rich off that shit.
We are. What were you gonna say, Loudy?
I was gonna ask if Dustin's snorting coke off of Cox.
Let you whip it out, and you'll find out.
No, I'm all set, man. It's kind of scary that you would say that to me. You don't even know me.
It's
Looks like you got a
cocaine.
free cock.
It's cocaine, man. It's all that matters.
Would you snort a line of coke from Phil's butt crack?
How much coke are we talking?
Oh!
It would cancel out the smell.
Oh, well then yeah.
Wow! That's causing OD.
I said I would get Dustin the coke. I didn't say I'd help him afterwards.
I didn't ask for help.
Hey, look it. We'll make sure it's not cut. We'll make it like it's pure, like the most pure shit you can get. You get
That will definitely kill him.
your huge pixie stick lines, and I'll get you a pixie stick straw.
No, get one of the McDonald's straws because they're way bigger in diameter.
Okay. See, now when I keep saying pixie stick, Dustin, I'm talking about those big plastic pixie sticks that you got to cut with a scissors.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm not cheap, man. If I'm gonna get you messed up, I'm gonna get you messed up for life.
That was an upgrade from the
I want you to strap me up in like an X position, turn me upside down, and then shove a funnel in my ass, and then just pour all the coke in.
Like Stevie Nicks.
Like,
Dustin, for real, she used to hire people to blow coke up her asshole.
oh, I want that.
It's supposed to get you high as shit real quick.
Here we are talking about coke enemas. I love it.
I mean, that's how we're gonna spend WrestleMania weekend. Dustin's gonna be bent over the balcony with Phil taking a garden hose and blowing coke up there.
No. Remember, Phil will be crying the whole time. When can we go to the strip club so I can pick up my hooker?
Rest in peace, Phil Seitz.
Yeah, that heart attack really came out of nowhere.
Well, I mean,
Really?
you kind of knew it was a thing.
Did it really come out of nowhere, Joe?
It came out of many bottles of Coca-Cola and boxes.
So we know where it came from.
I should invite Dan on right now just to make fun of Phil, but I won't.
He has to pay for not being on the show, god damn it.
Well, I mean, it does cancel the recording to invite somebody into the chat, so... The only positive is every time I talk to one of you guys and then add somebody else, it starts a new recording and cancels out the other one, so it makes it easier for me to edit. So... Well, I thought tonight was a good show. What?
Bit.
Sorry, Dustin, go ahead.
Oh, never mind, I'll save it.
No, go ahead. I mean, we need something. This show is...
I'm going to use it for my outro.
Oh, okay. Does anyone have anything else they'd like to add? I'm talking anything.
I love Dustin's ass.
Thank you.
I have a picture of him spreading it on chat roulette somewhere.
I'm probably gonna follow suit my Sheila E. blow-up all night.
That is mildly arousing. Not
That's a glamorous life there, Eric.
Hey man, by the seventh wave, Tell you, man.
It ain't much. It ain't much.
By the 7th week, she knew she had a problem. She found real love real scary. Money only pays the rent.
Oh my God, there was a cop shot in my neighborhood.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
Now, are you saying that because you watched him get gunned down in front of your house just now, or?
Oh yeah,
Or-
I actually watching the news.
Oh, okay.
I was just a deputy. It's no big deal.
In my city,
Let's not forget what I have at 8:30 in the morning.
What, Dustin? What were you saying?
in my city, well, 10 minutes from my city, 9 bicyclists got hit by a car and 5 of them died.
Oh shit!
And it was funny.
Even worse.
Hey, I wanted to bring this up last week for the train wreck, but I forgot because, we got really fucked up. Oh, wait, sorry, that was for the Samurai Cop, or the Beverly Hills Cop one. Real quick, though, somebody at my local Kroger's took a shit on the self-scan checkout.
Yeah, I read that.
Yeah, it was in the Delhi Kroger, dude.
That was.
I thought you talked about that.
If I did, I'm sorry to bring it back up again, but there was a guy that whipped his dick out of McDonald's and threatened to rape a girl, and then down the street, a guy took a shit on the U-Scan checkout line. So that it's on the same street, Delhi Pike. It's fucking crazy. If you listen to our show and you know where Delhi Pike is, take a dump at the Waffle House and don't flush the toilet. But I went into that Kroger for Saturday's podcast to get a bunch of beer, and they had security at every fucking corner, dude, to make sure no one was going to shit there.
Speaking of that, when are you going to put it on so I can hear it?
I'm going to upload that. Thank you, Joel, for bringing that up. I'm going to upload it on Saturday, probably about noon or so. I've been really busy building the website and stuff, so...
Hey, that's all cool. I just want to be able to hear you guys.
Oh, when we get to Die Hard, I say, I gotta go to bed. Did I make it halfway through the movie, Dion?
Yeah, you did make it half, because I think when you said you had to peace out was I think right about when I can't fucking remember. I was pretty drunk, but I want to say it was about halfway.
All I know is that I got to the no fucking shit, ladies. It sounded like I'm ordering a pizza line, and then
Love that line.
dude, Joey,
Don't arrest me.
dude, one of my favorite movie going experiences, actually my favorite and one of my favorite, both with you. The best one ever was going to see Avengers. That was fucking phenomenal. That crowd, everything was crazy.
Making the people feel like little insects when we walked in with our pizzas.
Yeah, everyone's ordering hot dogs and popcorn, and we got a fucking extra large pizza. We're just like,
What? How did you do that? Fuck you, little insects.
Weren't there like 50 people getting pizza after that?
Yeah, they all fucking copied us.
Dewey's was very happy.
Oh yeah, we should have got fucking kickback.
We should have got a free pizza. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, that's it.
And then when we saw Die Hard, that whole marathon, that was phenomenal.
Until the last movie.
Yeah, I kind of fell asleep in it too.
That fucking movie was such a turd.
One other final note, guys. We have talked about a show called Ring Rust that we were going to try to record, and now that we have the one, the only Eric Lauderback, who himself is a professional wrestler, we will start recording Ring Rust in the near future and have an episode up. So, to the 1% that listens to us that may like wrestling, we're going to have a show for you.
Boom.
And like I said, man, wrestling is the glue that bonds our friendship. Actually, wrestling is what our friendships were built on. Alcohol is what kept us together, Dion. Like, I'll see you in less than a month, and we are going to be wasted every night.
Yep.
I can't wait to watch that UFC fight.
I'm excited. Watch Brock Lesnar probably get the fuck beat out of him.
I hope he loses. How awesome would it have been if it was Brock Lesnar versus CM Punk?
Ooh.
Oh, I would go out and see that then.
It'd be a pretty damn good fight. I don't think that.
What was that? SummerSlam 2013 all over again?
Yeah, but it would be real this time.
It's still real to me, damn it.
It's always real to you, damn it. I would have freaked out to watch that because like I get excited for WrestleManias and when I get to see The Rock and stuff. But my God, to see CM Punk really get his ass whooped, I would have been all over that shit, all over it.
Oh fuck yeah, man! Especially everybody getting all hyped. Oh, is he gonna fight? He's gonna fight. Blah, blah. It's like, bitch, he's gonna get beat down.
Now, Dion, are you ordering the show?
Yeah, since you guys are coming up, I'll order it because usually I just stream it, but I'll just order it.
So you're telling me the good news is that I don't have to go out to a bar after I'm already drunk to watch it, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Because even if Jake doesn't show up, which he may not, I'm still gonna be there.
Damn Skippy.
So that's the show. If you enjoyed it, tell us. If you hated it, tell us. Just tell us. Tell us something.
Loved it. No.
Open your fucking mouths and give a goddamn opinion.
And Joel, 2 snaps and around the world. Is that what you were going for? 3 listeners got the joke. So, speaking of contacting us, if you'd like to contact us, check us out on Facebook at World Class Bullshitters. Find us on Twitter, World Class Bullshitters, and contact us using the hashtag WCBS. And if you're so inclined to do things the old school way, you can send us an email at worldclassbs@mail.com. The best mail.
.com.
You see, Dan, we can do it without you.
No.
Yeah,
When you were saying the old way, I thought you were going to go with MySpace.
Wait, what about MySpace?
I thought he was gonna go carrier pigeon.
Oh! Yeah, that could work. You know, everyone sends some little pigeons at Jeff's house, and he's full of pigeon shit everywhere.
I don't have any pigeons anywhere, but what I do have is fucking something else birds flying in my house. I hate it. Fuck you, birds.
Certain set of skills he's learned over a very long career.
I just don't like nature. If I had the superpower to, like, make everything living in my house die except me and my mom, I'd be very happy. Because, like, any bird that would, like, fly by or a gnat or something would just die instantly.
Does that include the porch?
Yeah, pretty much. You know what? I want it 3 feet in every direction outside of my house.
So your property. So anyone walking outside along the sidewalk just croaks over and the bodies pile up.
Oh my god, guys, we got an actual tweet.
Oh, fuck. From who?
Yeah, from a long-time listener named Matthew Gogolin. He said to us, with E3 next week, you guys want to talk about past years and games that never came out? A la Prey 2? Sure, Matt. Theo Gogolin, we can cover that. I don't know how great the episode will be, but we'll cover it for sure. I mean, you know what? We'll talk about the E3 lineup shit that happens before next week's show. Is everyone cool with that?
Yeah,
I'm down.
down with it.
Maybe Dustin, maybe they'll show Red Dead Redemption 2.
I'm fucking pumped for that.
They got Injustice 2 trailer out already.
I did see that. I hate to say it. I hated it.
It's like they're just punching on each other.
They don't even show gameplay. It's just that pre-rendered shit, and nothing cool happens.
Yeah.
The best part was
They
Bryan
just
Cranston.
beat on each other and their outfits change with each attack or something.
It's I don't know what to say. I'll play. The reason I have Injustice 1 is because it was free. So, I know Phil's already paid like $90 for the deluxe edition with the
In
Wonder
4K.
dildo. You guys want to make a dollar bet that he upgrades his Xbox to the 4K model?
Oh, yeah. I am totally willing to bet that.
Everybody down for that dollar bet?
I'll bet $1.
Yeah. I'd buy that for $1.
Thank you.
How about you for $1?
Joel, how many?
Hey, I'm not that cheap.
Joel, how many people have you paid for?
What? Let's go with 24, okay?
Would
It's
you?
a nice round number.
Would you pay?
We all know.
Money.
We all know. He got the deluxe little boy package.
What does that include?
No
Well, you
little
can-
boys in any package.
Well, I don't know. There's packages. There's little boys. I mean,
Joel does have a little boy's package.
In a jar next to his bed.
Oh.
A cunt. A cunt. A cunt. A cunt. A cunt.